Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Slappin Kpop podcast. I'm Sammi, and I'm here with Kayla.
Hello.
And we're here to give our season wrap-up thoughts on Queendom 2.
Hooray. I guess.
Hooray. Yep. So, we started this podcast because of Road to Kingdom.
We did. That is what sort of, compelled us to start a podcast to begin with, because we didn't know any podcasts that were ever going to cover Road to Kingdom.
No.
So we were like, well, we should just podcast it then.
Yeah, because the Queendom was so well documented and well podcasted by, everyone, every K-pop, YouTuber, podcaster, everything.
But, so many YouTube, podcasts are girl group biased and centric that when Road to Kingdom, not even Kingdom, but when Road to Kingdom came around, no one, gave a shit about it enough to want to podcast the whole show. But it was I give a shit about it a lot, because I liked a lot of the groups. I gave
more of a shit about that than I did about Queendom.
Yep.
Because that's the thing of just, I feel like for as many people as say that K-pop is so boy group oriented, in terms of YouTube and podcasting, it's very steered toward the girl group
bias there, yeah.
Yeah. So the boys kind of, at least the boys' seasons of shows kind of get left behind.
We have a very,
lengthy relationship with the show.
Yes, this series as a whole is just something we hold near and dear to our hearts, and also simultaneously hate a lot.
Yeah, weirdly similar to Produce.
Produce and Queendom series is a lot of this podcast, so.
Really Mnet. It's just a lot of
Mnet survival shows.
Because also Island.
And also Island, yep.
So again, Mnet survival shows. So we decided that when we did episodes on Road to Kingdom, we did episodes on Kingdom Legendary War. And when this was announced, one, we'd already had our entire schedule put together.
For the
amount
year.
Of work we had to move episodes around because of this episode was too much work for us.
It fucked up July a lot, so.
It did fuck up July a lot. So July's gonna be a weird podcast schedule month. But we did so much for the show that we were like, I can't do this.
Number one, when Queendom 2 got announced, I was like, I'm not podcasting a whole show of Queendom 2 because I just don't care enough about girl groups. And then when the actual cast lineup got announced for it, I was like, I'm definitely not podcasting Queendom 2 because I generally just don't care about any of the groups that went on this show.
No, not at all. And that's half the battle with with these shows is the casting. The thing was, we just care about far more boy groups than we do girl groups. And it's not that we don't there's groups on here I like. It's just that they don't.
It's I like Hyolyn a lot, but Hyolyn alone is not gonna want me to watch this.
Hyolyn is one woman.
Yeah,
Hyolyn is one woman. She can only do so much for me. But overall, I just find that this show. And honestly, now looking back, the show has aired. We've seen all of it. Well, no, we haven't watched, a lot of... I've skimmed some episodes, but all of any of these shows...
Watching the episodes of this series, useless. Absolutely useless.
Absolutely pointless, because they don't do anything. It's all about the performances.
And there's so much filler and just, talking where they talk about nothing, and they're talking about, how people are ranked per each performance, and I'm like, it doesn't matter most of it.
Look, I will say this. I do think that, the girl group shows so much more focus on ranking because there's so much less personality that they're willing to let women show, and I think that's because of, obviously, dividing in production.
The people who get edited badly, so...
Please note, unlike Kingdom Legendary War, where we sat through a full episode of a fucking sports day, these girls did not have a sports day.
They had, the weird making units collaboration thing, but it's but I don't care about the groups that are on the show to begin with. I don't care about whatever interactions they're gonna have on the show, just because,
Fair.
I don't care. I'm not gonna lie about that. I just, don't care about it, so I don't need to watch it. I cared about groups that were on Kingdom, so I cared about that stuff more, because there's, little tiny bits of stuff in there I thought might be fun, but,
Yeah, weirdly thinking about it, Road to Kingdom, for as much as we started complaining about that show by the end. We were so angry.
I know.
it's kind of
it really all
just
started
such a
when Golden
good
Child
time.
got kicked off the show first and placed
For no
over
reason.
2, which was
For
like
no
wild.
reason.
Yeah.
We're still not over it 2 years later, by the way. But yeah, no, so we made the decision not to podcast it weekly. It was a good decision, in all honesty.
Because, like, also,
great
I'm
decision.
going to give you the warning right now. This is not going to be a very positive podcast
No.
episode, so if you want that, this is not the podcast you want to be listening to.
The other thing is, I just feel like no one liked this season.
It was so bland.
Even people that I was seeing actually watch the show and, like, really loved these groups were just, like, they were bored.
And I think
like, the performances were so boring.
Problem, too, because when you go... and you look at these groups, the, like, caliber of groups they cast on quote-unquote Queendom 2 don't feel nearly as much as, like,
as important as Queendom 1.
Any of the groups they got on Queendom 1, the original.
Honestly, even comparing them to, like, Kingdom, which, again, because of the way that boy groups are structured, like, Queendom 1 was able to get, like, the top, almost the top tier, like, number 1 girl groups. Like, they were, like, A-class girl groups. Kingdom, because of, I guess, the way boy group structured, they could only get, like, low A, B tier boy groups. I don't even think these groups compare to that cast lineup. They seem more like a road.
Hyolin's better than Park Bomb. Like, Hyolin is definitely a better solo artist than Park Bomb, so that is clearly, like, better casting for the soloist we apparently have to have on Queendom.
I don't know why, but also, Hyolin, unlike Park Bomb, which is just a casting problem, not a Park Bomb problem, because Park Bomb has never been a dancer. That has never been that's not something she pretended to be good at. At least Hyolin is able to participate in all of the different aspects of the show. Vocal, dance, rap, all of it.
She can do all of that. And I think the only other group I can see even being up to caliber with Queendom is, like, WJSN is probably in the lovely spot on Queendom, which is, and they're clearly the least popular group on Queendom to begin with. But, like,
I would say
that's really it.
In terms of popularity, you can maybe give Brave Girls, like, the G-Idol spot of, like, they're not new.
Yeah.
I would say Kep1er probably the G-Idol spot of, like, the new girl group that's, like, broken out on the scene. But the problem is they're so new.
was also so much bigger than I think either of them were, too. And they other than Kep1er, they were a little bit, like, slightly more established. It's like Kep1er debuted and then won on this show. G-Idol had at least been around for, like, a year.
Yeah, they're more of the 2 spot, and 2 couldn't actually go on regular Kingdom. They had to go on Road to Kingdom.
Weirdly, but, like, Kep1er goes on a pretty similar journey that 2 did on
It does.
Road to Kingdom.
It does.
And I honestly, because, like, we had the same thing when we were talking about Road to Kingdom about how we went in thinking we were going to hate 2 because they were, like, the stupid Mnet plans of a group, and we thought they were just going to be bad, and it was clearly just a publicity stunt, and that was clearly kind of the same thing for Kep1er, but I feel like
let's be honest. The publicity stunt worked.
Yeah, it, like, worked, because I feel like, if anything, I came out of the show just understanding what Kep1er is as a group more, so I, like, ended up liking
the same way I did with 2.
The same thing with 2.
Similar.
Yeah.
Even though 2 would then go on to rebrand as TO1 for anybody that doesn't know about.
Like,
but TO1 is 2.
External management problems they're going through.
It does. But overall, I think it was very good for them. Mm-hmm. But, so, the way we're gonna structure this is we're gonna go through, we do not care, we will bring in some of the behind the scenes stuff, obviously, as we go and talk about it, but that will not be the focus of anything we talk about. We're just gonna go through the rounds, and how we've decided to structure this is that we are going to reveal our rankings from 6 to 1, or whatever, and we're just gonna start from the performance in that round that we thought was the worst, and go up from there.
Yep.
Trust us. The negativity doesn't stop as we go up, though.
No, it does not.
In many ways.
Like, whatever is in first place is sometimes just there by default because everyone else was too bad. Like, that's...
It's not there through its own merits, mainly through the faults of others.
Really.
Yep. So, round 1 is not a round. It's not actually a round.
Yeah,
it's
so this
intro
is also
performances.
Weird that
I hate the way the show
structures. Queendom and
structures.
Kingdom are, for some reason, structured so differently from each other.
Every season of this show has been structured differently.
It's so weird.
And I hate it.
It's so weird.
Because it's not even that Road to Kingdom is different than actual Kingdom, because that makes sense. Right, it's a different type of show.
Concept.
It's almost yes. But Queendom to Road to Kingdom to Queendom 2 are entirely different. The rounds are set up differently. Different, it has different, not themes, but, like, the challenge of the week or whatever it is
the biggest place where it's different is in round 3A, is always where they decide to, like, fuck up the formula a little bit.
We'll get to it, but
that has to be different every single time they run this series.
Because, like, different things happen, like, for example, like, usually, and it's usually been, like, they have an intro performance, which they always do.
On Kingdom and Road to Kingdom, they do the intro performances on the premiere of the show, but in Queendom, they just release them, like, a week ahead of time before the show airs, like, on YouTube.
Which is odd.
Which is weird, yeah.
But, like, usually, like, in terms of round structure, like, you have your intro round, that's fine. Then round 1 is always you covering your own song.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine. And then round 2 is where we start to throw...
Yeah. Round 2
sometimes
in Queendom, 1, 2 in Kingdom is you cover another group song.
You kind of switch, which is
Road
fine.
to Kingdom, it was different, which was just kind of like, just cover a song. It really was.
Yeah, just cover
Any
a different... Yeah, just cover a different group song. It doesn't need to be each other's songs, even though that is one of the few seasons where you actually have groups that have enough songs to be covered. It was so weird
that Road to Kingdom is where they threw that out, because those groups on Road to Kingdom had more songs than like freaking Kepler and VV's on this season.
Yeah, other than 2. Yeah. Because 2 was the odd one out, but they still continue to have that problem because of groups like Kepler and VV's, which don't have a lot of songs. And then round 3 is the shit show. Because in round 3 of Queendom, it was that there was a vocal performance, which was two groups. It was like
groups of 2, so they did vocal duets, groups of 2. And then they sent one person to a dance performance, and they all did a little solo and then had a little collab dance thing at the end of it.
Which is fine. And then in Road to Kingdom, there was one part of it was that the groups did...
They just did, like, joint covers.
They
sent, like, 4 to 6 people per group to this collab, and they just did a cover together, and that was
which I enjoyed, which I thought was actually maybe the best version of that round. I loved it. Mm-hmm. The quality of the covers varied greatly.
So
but
much.
It did give us one of the best performances of that show.
That is ranked worst performance of Road to Kingdom, and one of them is ranked best performance of Road to Kingdom.
One Us and the Boys covering Sunmi's Heroine, incredible, loved it. Mm-hmm. Amazing, loved it. And then in Kingdom, it was that they formed off into 2 separate
teams of 3 groups.
Teams of 3 groups. And each of them had to send people to do a vocal, a dance, and a rap performance, which I enjoyed. Mm-hmm. That's fine. This is the weirdest one.
Yeah. It's also,
this doesn't make sense to me.
The way they do the dance collab is, I think, the worst thing they have ever thought of for this. Like, I think it's horrible.
The round 3 on this show, I don't think this show has ever been able to fully, like... We'll get to what I think about, like, how they did this, but I think that round 3 of this show, the people planning the show, I don't think have ever liked how round 3 ended, I guess. I don't think they've ever probably liked the results of round 3.
I don't think so, yeah.
So they just keep changing what it is.
Right. Because I feel like, they didn't like the whole solo dance thing, so like, what if they just do, and then I think they just discounted,
Road,
because it was Road, and then in Kingdom, it's like there was a full clean sweep of one team from the other, so, and that fucked up the scoring for the rest of the show, so...
The other thing with it is that I don't know if this group, especially with Hyolan being a soloist, how the hell are they going to have her do all 3 performances? Mm-hmm. Which
also,
she had to do both performances here.
They clearly can't do a rap performance here.
No, especially with a group like VV's, which doesn't have a rapper. That's not their concept. So I think that fucked everything up. So I think they were like, oh, just cancel the rap part and we'll just do vocals and dance. Yeah. But the way they divided it is so weird.
It's pretty, like, just random. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, obviously, at the end, they do a solo song. So I think that, really, this show has never been consistent. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what I hate about it. Because, like, there's rounds where you're, like, excited to see what happens. Because it's like, oh, and then also 3B is them just doing another one of their own songs. Which has happened before, and I just think is a lazy... I think it's just
3Bs
lazy.
where a lot of groups get to cover B-sides if they want to cover a B-side, but also in
If
Kingdom they were
to.
kind of given the leniency to just cover whatever the fuck they wanted as well, because a lot of the groups in Kingdom
that's where we got Classy Savage.
Yeah, that's also where we got SF9's Move, and I also think where Stray Kids did do, so it was like very weird in Kingdom.
Yeah, they sort of just allowed them to do whatever, and honestly, I do think that might have been the best version of that round, because Move's iconic. Classy Savage made me love that song. Mm-hmm. I think that just, I don't know, I feel like, because on this, I think the only one that does a B-side, Brave Girls does a B-side, WJSN does a B-side. I don't know if they just allow them to do whatever, because Kepler does just a random cover of The Boys. Left,
so I think that was just like a, sure. And because Taeyeon's the host, they're like, we'll do Girls' Generation.
We can do The Boys.
Sure.
Still, I just think that Kingdom probably had the best version of that, which is just, sure, do whatever. Mm-hmm. Just do a great performance. And I do think that that is my thing with this show, is that this show has the budget to do great performances, and I just think it never delivers what it could deliver, because when you see it, when it delivers, it's amazing. When you get things like Full Dash, or Heroine, or Move, or stuff like that, or SF9 covering The Stealer, things like that are incredible. But for the most part, you get things like, very, very doing Monse in a weird Titanic.
Yeah.
Which at least is a concept.
Right, and then you
at
get
least
like,
that's interesting.
And then you get Pentagon doing Follow, but it's like Egyptian.
Yeah, but it's an Egyptian remix. It's a lot. But I think we should start with the intro performances. Yeah. We'll get our anger will be. So trust us when we say when we cover this show, we know what we're talking about. We've seen all of it.
We've seen every iteration of the show and have like very in detailed podcasted like the latest two versions of the show other than this. So
trust, we will be making reference. If you have not seen any of
all past 3 seasons of the show, so if you don't want spoilers for that, which is weird that there would be spoilers to any of those in the first place, however many years removed.
If you haven't seen them,
that's
trust
on you.
me. Even the because I will say, a lot of the mediocre old performances, I'm not going to talk about. Like, will I ever decide to just cover, I don't know, The Boys covering, oh shit, what was that? What Vic song did they do?
Shangri-La.
Shangri-La?
Yeah, and then, like, the
that's
one
a mediocre
like,
performance.
Mine is just, like, lost in time, where it's like, I don't really
that's
ever
lost
think
in time.
about
We're not gonna mention those. You don't need to watch those. Anything we mention in reference to this are shit that is stuck in our minds, and for good or for bad, I recommend seeing them once in your life.
It's like, because we talked about this before, where it's like, as much bad as there was in Kingdom, at least there was, like, enough there that we went on a roller coaster, which made it at least a little bit entertaining, because I at least have feelings about it, one way
There
or
was
the
a lot
other.
of anger. Look, it has ruined the word color for me in the worst way. It has ruined how I spell the word color, because that's specifically...
That also just really increased my, like, hatred of Wolf and Wolf concepts, generally.
Wolf concepts and K-pop, that too. Yeah. The Kingdom performances are just a riot. Watch all of them. But anyway, so let's begin with the intro performance. So the intro performances are mainly just them covering one of their songs in like a almost obscure way. Yeah. Some of them try to hide what song they're covering.
Sometimes because Kepler's is not their song. Theirs is like a weird chanting intro because they don't have any songs really to put there.
But like, so let's start. What we ranked at 6th was Vivi's dance performance.
Yeah.
This was, I don't know what song this is. Someone was saying it's Bop Bop, and I'm like, I don't think this is Bop Bop.
I think it's a little bit Bop Bop.
I think it's vaguely Bop Bop-esque, but it's not just them dancing to Bop Bop. It's them dancing to this, like, and by dancing, I mean kind of dancing.
It's a thing where, like, they're standing in a circle and each one of them gets a solo dance thing, which is really them just moving their arms around a lot.
It's got a lot of voguing, and not even, like, great voguing that I'm impressed by. It's mainly just fine. And this is really where we start. Okay, so, we made a video. Yes. It's one of our most controversial videos, and I always loved it, because I stand by it entirely. Because when we were going to watch Kingdom, we kept getting inundated with videos of ranking in different categories. Yes. And the problem with that was we didn't agree with any of them. So we made our own because that is our philosophy on this podcast that if we don't like a video, we're not gonna
with our opinions instead.
Exactly. We're not going to downvote. We're not going to rant on you. We're not going to call anybody out. We're just going to remake it with our own opinions. Exactly. And that's how we do things. That's how some of my favorite episodes have come about.
I know.
But so we were like, oh, Queendom's happening.
Let's do the ssame thing with Queendom.
Let's do the same thing with Queendom. And then not realizing that this is a very much a boy group fan thing to do.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anyone else...
Because I think people are too afraid of the girl group stance and no one wanted to do it. Because we're like one of the only videos out there that actually did it.
I do remember that. And I will say... There is
a decent amount of comments that are like, I agree a lot, but... I mean, this is your opinion, so I appreciate you at least doing it.
I mean, I will say, there were so many comments that were brave to do it.
Yeah, I was like, you're brave for doing it, but I disagree entirely, and I'm like, that's cool, thanks.
Honestly, they're nicer comments than under the boy group one.
I know, because the Stray Kids fans have found the boy group one and tore that apart.
They hated it. But I will say, I love being accused of being an AT simp in that one, when obviously we're both SF9 fans.
It was like, you don't like SF9 enough. And I'm like, SF9 is my second favorite K-pop group.
And they're in my top 10. But like, so in that, to bring it back to the point, in that Queendom ranking video, we ranked Vivi's low in dance because we ranked them in their dance ability and their vocal ability. And we ranked Vivi's low in dance.
We put the disclaimer on there for Vivi's that we were not ranking them based off of anything G-Friend related because they are not G-Friend. They are not a G-Friend subunit. They are now a new group because there are only 3 people.
Exactly. And we also did the same thing with Hyolyn. We were not ranking Hyolyn in anything.
Music. Yeah.
We did allow for people to cover G-Friend songs, obviously, because I wasn't going to use every single Vivi's B-side imaginable. Mm-hmm. We were going to run out soon.
Yep.
But we tried to stick it to, if they were going to cover, if they were going to do Vivi's, we tried to make them do a Vivi song. Mm-hmm. If they were going to do Hyolyn, we kind of wanted them to cover a Hyolyn song. Mm-hmm. So Hyolyn solo music. We tried to make it very distinct to that. Mm-hmm. So having seen this intro, I am proven correct in us ranking them low on dance because they're not G-Friend. And I don't think it's that they can't do better dances because they can. Mm-hmm. They did the dances. They were there with G-Friend. The problem is I think they're being given bad choreo. You can't
lose a half of your group and still be the same group. Like, there's clearly... Exactly. They're clearly different. And the music they have to do in the future has to be different than just G-Friend.
It has to stand on its own.
It has to be catered to them specifically because they cannot just do G-Friend music and think that it'll be the same because they are literally missing half of their members. So
exactly. So I do think that this just sort of is the beginning of the thing of they're not G-Friend, they're a different group. They are 3 members of G-Friend, but that's like saying that, like, you know, Minx is Dreamcatcher. It's not the same thing.
Yeah. Or if you take, like, even, like, WJSN, like, Chocomay or, like, the Black...
And compare it to regular.
Like, you grade them off of, like,
specifically
all of WJSN's music. Yeah, like, you can't do that.
Yeah. So that's really that. There's not really much to say. It's just kind of a very boring dance performance. Mm-hmm. It's not bad. I don't think any of these intros are terrible.
That's weird, because none of them are, like,
fine.
As bad as we're gonna get on this show.
Yeah, but they're also about 1.5 minutes long, so, like, it's whatever. So then at 5, we ranked Luna. The thing with this is, I don't know what song this is, because it's an instrumental, so I'm not, like, fully familiar. It might be a Luna B-side or something that I'm, like, not fine.
It's probably a B-side, I think. I feel like I remember reading it's a B-side.
Alright.
When I was, like, looking through stuff, like, when it came out.
The thing with it is I find it's
very
typical
boring.
Luna choreo. These intro performances a lot of times are just people, like, just doing what they do and they're gonna, like, later on show a different side of them or whatever. Mm-hmm. I just think that this is kind of boring. I feel like it's the same choreo they used for, like, things like Butterfly and, like, a bunch of their music videos. It's kind of whatever for me. Mm-hmm. So then we ranked, in 4th place, we ranked Kep1er. So Kep1er does a fun chant where they established their name.
We are Kepler.
They are Kepler.
Yes, they're also wearing sashes that say Kepler in case
Kepler,
it wasn't clear.
because in case you forgot, you know, this was fine.
I think
that this is. I think I kind of like it for Kepler.
I think it also is a good intro performance. I think too. Just as an intro, I think it's good
because they change it enough from just covering OO. To be honest, for as many we'll get to the bad dance breaks on this show. I honestly like it when the intro performance is mostly a dance break.
Right.
Because we're gonna get to see you cover your own song 3 more times on this show.
Yep.
Fun! Have a dance break. Have a good time here. Show me something interesting that's gonna make me excited to see more of you. And the problem with a lot of these, and I'll give it, like, the best intro performance of all time will still be that Golden Child intro.
Yes.
With the sword. I forget what it's called.
That's the boys one.
Sorry, that's the boys intro, sorry. But the Golden Child intro, also fabulous. The boys intro with the sword is exciting. It's different. It's all a dance break, but it's the only...
All of the Road to Kingdom ones are mainly dance breaks.
They're all mainly dance breaks, but, like, I know that Pentagon sang for a little bit.
They sang, but there's also, like, hella weird, too.
Yeah, theirs also involves Woosuck being, like, dragged away by demons or something.
And it was like,
a lot.
and the song they used was Shine, and so it was, like, very weird.
It was very odd. But, the boys' intro in that is so good, and it's got me so excited to see more from them because they were showing me something different. Golden Child had a similar thing with that.
Yeah.
And I just think that these are kind of safe.
Yeah, I think if anything, I give Kepler the fact that it is mostly a dance break and it isn't just like a straight cover of a song, so I find it like a little bit more interesting.
So then on third, we gave it to Brave Girls. In their first performance of Rolling of the season.
The first out of 3 times in a row we're gonna hear Rolling on this show.
They're really hanging on the laurels of Rolling. Because honestly, I'll give them that. Here's the problem with it. The first time I heard it, I'm like, oh, that's fun. They're gonna just do Rolling thing. The problem is what occurs after.
Yep.
Which is that they continue to do Rolling every time we see Brave Girls, I hear Rolling.
And the thing that's so weird about it is every time we hear Rolling, it's not even just a straight Rolling cover. It's Rolling, like, shoehorned into another song.
It's Rolling shoehorned in the worst way and made to sound worse because it's not how Rolling should go. This I kind of like because it's a dance cover, and Brave Girls not known for their dancing.
Right, but it was fine.
But they have fun. They have props. They have hats. I like it. Yeah. They're having a good time. It's one of the only times I think Brave Girls is not trying to do the same concept of Summer Bop.
Right.
Because this is just kind of fun and funky. I like it. I wish I would have seen more of this from Brave Girls. Because this kind of got me excited.
Of the show, yeah.
I know. So then at 2, we have WJSN.
They have a costume change as well, so that was fun.
They do.
I feel like I wished like they would have saved that for like an actual round instead of the intro, because that was fun.
The weird thing with WJSN is that WJSN is one of the groups on here with the most number of songs that they can use.
So many songs.
Because like Hyolyn has all the Sister back catalog, but I feel like she mostly wanted to do her solo stuff, which I agree with. I think she should. And then Brave Girls, this lineup of Brave Girls specifically hasn't been in all the Brave Girls songs.
Right. So they got like deepened and forward for Brave Girls.
Yeah. Because if, for people that don't know, for like baby K-pop fans, Brave Girls has debuted like years ago, like 2015? 14?
I want to say earlier than that.
I think it might have been earlier than that. Original Brave Girls might be very early. I want to say it's like around
2010 or 11 or something.
Brave Girls, 2011, Jesus. So yeah, in terms of Brave Girls as a concept, Brave Girls has been around for like 11 years. But Brave Girls has had like such a tumultuous history of like losing people and gaining people that this lineup of Brave Girls has only been together since like 2016 and only encompasses people that have been there since 2016. So like their catalog of Brave Girls is much shorter. So I think probably WJSN probably has the most number of songs to use.
Yep.
It is the best of just the pure covers. And then we get Hyolyn. Hyolyn does 2 songs. Hyolyn does a vocal cover of 9 Lives, which I loved. Hyolyn's, and then she does Dolly as mainly a dance cover.
Yeah. Which I think those are, like, 2 great songs that, like, are very representative of Hyolyn and her solo career, to begin with.
I was scared with the fact of, like, she used both of those songs just for her intro and not for anything else. But then you look at it and I'm like, no, Hyolyn's got songs.
Hyolyn's got a lot of songs.
Hyolyn's been doing things for years. Hyolyn knows what she's doing, and honestly, she does. I love her.
Yep.
And, like, I like that she did the vocal cover. She was like, nah, I'm gonna show you my, like, vocals and everything.
Yep.
The other thing I love with it, it's just her.
Yep.
There is no backup dancers. There's nothing. It is her by herself on this stage. And she has the stage presence of, like, better stage presence than any of the other groups combined. Oh my god.
And it's so great that it's like if apparently Queendom has to have a soloist for some reason.
I don't know why.
Hyolyn is so good to have because she is very good at both, like, the vocals and dance, and also just the stage presence. That it's like if anyone's gonna hold their own as the only soloist on this show of other groups, she's doing a great job at it.
Yeah,
so.
She really is. So then round 2.
Round 1, technically.
Round 1. I will do this forever, which is the fact that I count the intros as a round. I don't need to do that. So round 1, they have to cover one of their own songs. And it's like, I don't know if the goal here is to remix them, but obviously you have to do a remix or else it's just a straight cover and it's boring. But yes. So at 6th place.
Yep.
The worst one. We gave it to Luna's Paint the Town cover.
Luna also, unfortunately, had COVID during this round, so they got 0 points for the round. And while they're performing this cover, they are probably mostly all recovering from COVID, which is, like, sad. And I get the fact that they're all probably exhausted, and that's why they look so out of it when they're performing.
But like, in terms of the quality of the performance, it's not good. I understand what they're going for. I understand the concept.
I understand what they're trying to go for, but they are doing such a bad job in execution.
Like everything, we're going to just compare it to other Kingdom performances. It's giving Oh My Girl covering Destiny mixed with One Us's Lit performance.
Also a little bit Road. Of the
and also
that It's One dance performance.
Oh,
the one that Taeyang and Jiyeon and
Yes.
It's a little bit of that. It's like
it's a little bit of all that mixed together.
Korean theme is what they're going for with it.
But also, like, just throw everything in the kitchen sink at it. There's a moon in the background. There's fire. There's 80,000 backup dancers. There's so much happening. There's like 3 different dance breaks in the middle, and I think that's really the problem with it. Is that the song already is like one of those minimalist choruses where it's like mainly focused on the dancing. It's just
a lot of like it's a noise chorus where there's not a lot of singing going on in the chorus.
And then at the same time you decide to break it up with like you also then cut it off with another dance break that is entirely just added in.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with the song. It sounds out of place with the song, to be honest. It just feels disjointed a little bit.
Yeah, and it's like they're just not doing a good job selling the concept, and that's a problem they're gonna have for a lot of their performances on this show.
Yeah. The other thing with it is that Paint the Town is a concept, and it is like an ethnical sounding song.
Yeah, it's got
the ethnicity it sounds like is not traditional Korean.
Quote-unquote, like, ethnic hip sound to it.
Yeah. The problem with that is that ethnic hip being then translated into traditional Korean are, like, diverging concepts that I don't think mesh as well as people think they do. Alright. So now we really prove that Vivi's isn't G-Friend, because at 5th we have Vivi's doing Time for the Moon Night / Rough. Now, mind you, I love Time for the Moon Night's one of my favorite G-Friend songs. Those are my 2 favorite
G-Friend songs together.
They're so good.
And it's like, this is really the beginning and the end for them, because this is what it is made so clear that they are not G-Friend, and it's like, covering the songs, also originally a 6-membered song, 6-member choreography, the gaps are so apparent. Like, they could not have picked 2 songs to more illustrate the gaps that Vivi's has now that they're no longer G-Friend. And I feel like that was just poor choices on both of them and the people who arranged the song for them to begin with.
Because here's the problem. Here's the problem with it that's especially clear is that if you are going to cover a song that has far more members than you do, you have to change the choreo. Mm-hmm. You have to do more changes. This is... Because for the most part, people do remixes of the songs. Like, Paint the Town is a full traditional remix, whatever. This isn't a remix of those songs. They do, like, a straight cover of Time for the Moon Night, and then almost a straight cover of Rough. The only thing that changes, I feel like it's more of, like, an orchestra instrumentation as opposed to the original.
They literally have to have choreo 3 of their backup dancers stand in the places of the other members in parts of this choreography because they're just doing the straight choreography meant for 6 people.
It just feels like... It also just feels like they don't have confidence enough in the members that are here to change it enough.
Like, my whole thing of the show is, like, they really should not be covering G-Friend songs, because, if anything, it's really just illustrating how much of G-Friend is missing from Vivi's.
Because the thing is, Vivi's is not a bad group. Bop Bop was fine. Pop Pop fit them.
Yeah.
G-Friend is a different concept
They're different.
Than Vivi's.
And it's like, Yuju specifically, losing Yuju, and all of the points in the songs where she's supposed to be belting are so just obvious when she's not there.
Because the other thing is that they have different strengths.
Yeah.
These are different strengths of people. And I just think that overall it was a bad idea to do such a straight cover. Remix it. Do something different. And if you're gonna do something like that, don't cover those 2 songs, which are, like, the most G-Friend songs. Right. You gotta do something like, cover Fingertip, cover something like Mago, cover something
because I feel like if they did Mago or Fingertip, I think both of those songs, like, fit them, the 3 of them specifically, a lot better than those ones did,
As opposed to just doing... I feel like the only song that's more G-Friend is, like, Love Whisper.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that would have been, like, real bad. Right. But, like, what I'm saying is, like, they chose such a traditional G-Friend sounding songs. Mm-hmm. Specifically Rough. Rough is, like, the biggest G-Friend song.
Rough is, like, the G-Friend song,
The G-Friend song. So I just think that they should have just done something a little more... Like, instead of doing 2 songs, just do Fingertip.
Yeah.
Make yourself, like, obviously I think they needed to dip into the G-Friend catalog. 1, that's why they were cast.
And I think doing it round 1 is the place where they were gonna have to do it, if anywhere in the show.
Yeah.
But so they just picked such the wrong songs and executed it so poorly.
Yeah. I just think it was a bad choice.
Yeah. And I think that's partly on them and partly on their company and the producers who thought it was a good idea.
Oh, yeah. When we're criticizing all of this isn't necessarily criticizing the groups. This is criticizing everyone involved.
Everyone who's involved in this process, because it's clearly always a lot of people.
It is a team effort. Yeah. All of this is a team effort. Even Mnet. Mnet's not blameless in this, but because, again, they cast Vivi's because that is... Well, G-Friend's gone, and that's one of the only other big groups we didn't have on Queendom.
Yeah.
So we'll get the next best thing, which is 3 out of 6.
Yeah.
Exactly. Half of them. So, that's that. And then at 3rd place, we have Brave Girls doing Chip Me Ba Ram and the second cover of Rolling we have on this season.
Yeah, because the first half of the song is Chip Me Ba Ram, and the second half we get Rollin' out of, like, literally nowhere because the transition is such a hard cut into Rollin'.
There is no transition. Yeah. It is just someone pressed next on the audio track and Rollin' started playing. Yep. There is no transition.
Yep.
And this is really where Brave Girl starts what I call we got one gimmick and we're riding it till we're done. Because while I gave credit to Brave Girls in their intro performance, which is like, okay, they're covering Rollin', but this is like fun and funky, like, and different.
Rollin', yeah.
Different Rollin'. This is G-Friend. This is Brave Girls just being like, we're here to do summer bops, and that's it. And I'm like, ladies, it's April.
The other thing that they're doing is they're gonna consistently sing live and then belt pretty poorly throughout every performance they do.
You mean just, like, almost
just, like, yelling.
Scream it?
Yeah.
Yell it into the mic? Which is, like,
that's how their songs are written, so it's not like they're doing anything that's new or wrong, but it's grating when you're getting that 4 performances in a row.
And also, it's not a problem unique to them. We'll get to it when we have to more of the, like, the vocal-centric performances, but all of them tend to do it, and I don't know if it's maybe that, like, what was going on if the mics were bad or what was going on, but everyone is doing it this season.
Oh, yeah.
Except Yolen, weirdly.
And Yolen is also using live vocals essentially the entire show, too, but she is very good at that, so...
But the other thing is Yolen is...
very well known for that as well.
Yeah. I don't know if maybe everyone else is nervous, or, like, what's going on, or, like, this group situation's happening, or what's going on, or they're not used to singing live in this Mnet setting, because, again, for other Mnet shows, they're not allowed to sing live.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with that, but Hyolin's the only one that kind of sounds great.
Right.
Also, why did we give Brave Girls a dance break? I will continue to bring up bad dance breaks in every performance, because
everyone has
so many of these dance breaks are bad.
Every single performance has a bad dance break.
And that's the thing is, like, it's just unnecessary dance breaks. Like, they don't add anything to the performance. They kind of bring the performance to, like, a screeching halt.
They do, because half the time they don't belong there.
And the dance break is what transitions us into Rollin'.
Yeah.
Which just immediately sounds nothing like the other song.
Yep.
And it's just like, okay, we're done. The dance break cuts and we have a different song now.
Yep.
Ugh. It's not bad. I like both of these songs. It's fine. It's just, I kind of want more from them. And I know they can do better.
Mm-hmm.
So then at second, we have Kepler.
Yep.
Wadada.
Yep. So,
this is better Wadada.
This is a better version of Wadada than original Wadada number 1, yeah.
We have our problems with the original version of Wadada in that I think it's mostly, like, kind of grating to listen to after a while.
Yeah.
This, I think the change in the instrumentation, like, these girls having to, like, possibly sing it live, or more live, which means that they're not as, like, screechingly high-pitched. It all makes it better.
It is. I also think it's, like, it's pretty simple, but honestly, because most of it is, like, pretty dance-centric, their choreography is at least, like, pretty engaging to watch.
More engaging than the original choreo.
It's way more engaging than the original choreo, also more engaging than the choreo anyone else on the show is doing, so I like that. Also, I'm pretty sure we skipped WJSN at 4th.
Oh, we did. We absolutely did. And I think that really just shows how exciting that performance was.
Yeah, it's like, WJSN, we put them in between BBs and Brave Girls. They cover As You Wish. It is pretty boring. It's pretty much just As You Wish, not a lot different. They have a whole thing about this hourglass that breaks right at the beginning of the performance.
They were very upset about that, and I hate the way Mnet edits this. And I think it's just a problem with, I think, how Mnet edits female shows as opposed to male shows. For example, they make this hourglass falling as if these girls have been devastated beyond belief. Like, this is the worst thing that has ever happened to them. And I can't stand that editing.
Yeah, and it's like, they're standing on the stage now and it's a little bit slippery, but, like, they all do fine. Like, none of them fall down. Like, the other thing is that was perfectly fine.
The other thing is that it's not like they're wearing heels. They're not. They're wearing boots. Yeah. They should not slip. I know that the stage is probably slippery, sure, but, like, they're not even in, like, shoes that I'm scared, like, they're not even in flats. They're in, like, the you know, the white, like, boots that every K-pop idol has now? It's those. They're fine. And it's also not in a substantial amount of sand. They edit this to be more dramatic than, if anyone, so in Road to Kingdom, the boys covers O Sole Mio, and the entire performance hinges on this very, like, supposed to be cool part.
Yeah.
in which one of the members...
It's Sangyun. He's supposed to light his hand on fire, and then light a ball on fire, like a staff ball on fire, and then give it to one of the other members.
And then that member is supposed to do fun,
like
cool
a fun,
tricks
like,
with fire.
staff twirling section.
The problem is, at no point did it work. It didn't work. It was all in darkness. It was
so bad. Clearly, like, lighted in stage that something was supposed to be on fire and nothing was on fire.
Yeah, and nothing was on fire, and it never worked.
Mm-hmm.
But that was edited to be like, oh, this didn't work out. They were sad about
but
it.
It was not nearly as dramatic as the breaking of the hourglass.
As the hourglass.
Which honestly it did not take away from the performance really
not at all. The only thing is, like, yeah, the hourglass comes back and you can see there's nothing in it.
Right.
But, like, that's too, like, I wouldn't have particularly clocked it that much.
Right.
If Mnet hadn't focused so much on it.
I probably wouldn't have noticed had we not made an entire scene. Probably not.
So that's the most exciting part about that.
Yeah,
but back to Kepler.
Like the performance is fine. It's like not bad.
Whatever.
It's literally just as you wish. There's nothing really that special about it.
It's as you wish with 30 backup dancers. Yeah. That's what it is. So back to Kepler. Kepler at 2. I like this Wadada much more.
It's a way more interesting version of Wadada for some reason.
It really is. It is one of the few songs where a dance break actually works.
Yes.
Because the problem with a lot of dance breaks is that they're being put into a
song with a vibe that doesn't fit the song.
Doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Or at least the dance break that's being put in doesn't fit the vibe. Because they're all like these super like hip-hop or like electronic dance breaks. In fucking Rollin' by Brave Girls doesn't work. It's a different kind of... You have to either change the dance break to be different or put it in a song like Wadada where it does work.
Right. And Wadada is like the new version, like that, like, I don't know, new version of Wadada fits the dance break, but it also just generally fits the vibe of Wadada to begin with anyway, so.
It also just, I think, fits the vibe of Kepler better.
Yeah. Because Kepler is a very dance performance-centric group, I think, too, so it works for them a lot. And then in number 1, we have Touch My Body by Hyolyn.
I love this.
And the performance is great. She's also one of the only people who makes, like, really good use of this bizarre stage that they have.
Yeah, is this where we want to explain what the stage is?
Yeah, so the stage I don't think they keep this stage every round. But
they have variations of it.
It's like we have a stage and then there's an upper platform with a second stage. And there are 2 staircases on either side of the stage, but the left side of the stage has like a really wide staircase and the right side of the stage has a really narrow, short staircase.
Yeah, and for the most part, people use, like, the left side of the stage for the staircase, and the right side of the stage has this weird, almost, like, diamond
square thing for the Queendom logo.
For the Queendom logo, where also a bunch of, especially when there's a group, like, one person will be in there, and then they'll cut back to another person on the stairs. It just so much it's such a busy stage. Yeah. Because like, diamond thing is just covered in lights that constantly seem to be, like, just changing colors. Yes. Which just, whenever you just see it out of the
neon gamer lights, where it's, like, constantly cycling through colors.
Which also is on the stairs. Yes. But on the stairs, it's fine. When you see it out of the corner of your eye happening on a performance where they're just, like, center stage, it's really, like, kind of distracting sometimes. Oh, yeah. It's like, what's happening? Because, like, the way it's set up, every once in a while you'll just see the corner in, like, the corner of the screen, and I'm like, huh? Oh, that's what, that.
Yep.
But, like, Hyolyn fucking kills it. Hyolyn uses that entire stage
she
so
does,
well.
Especially being one person, she does, like, makes, like, really good use of having the whole staging the way it is, which is nice.
And also, Hyolyn, one of the only people that understood that, like, oh, Touch My Body can't have an electro dance break. Yeah. You know what it can have? It can have a horn dance break, and that's what it has, and it works perfectly. Yep. And it's also not obnoxiously long. It's, like, a short little, like, 15-20 second dance break, and then we keep going. It makes so much more sense than everyone else's dance. And other than, like, Kepler and everyone that actually have a dance break that fits, this fits too. I also like that this is where Hyolyn, round 1, she decides to just do the Sistar tribute.
Yeah.
And she will not do another Sistar song.
That's that because Vivi's also doesn't do any more G-Friend after this point either. So I think they get that out of the way first, and then like that's it for the whole show.
The thing with it is that I feel like Vivi is like kind of needed to do a G-Friend song, mainly just because of their number of songs. I think Hyolyn was like, let me just get this out of the way.
And I was like, I don't think Hyolyn needed to do Sistar songs because she has so many solo songs, but she's like, the fans probably want me at some point in time to do a Sistar song, so like, might as well just get that out of the way first. I feel like it was either there or is in round 3B, and I feel like doing it right at the beginning is like better placement for that.
Especially with like, that's really when everybody that's like, before it just becomes something that people are anticipating. Mm-hmm. Let's just get it out of the way now. Also, I love this song. I miss this kind of summer song, man.
Mm-hmm. It's cute.
So good. So then round 2 is where we
swap.
Everyone's deciding to swap songs.
Yep.
And weirdly, the song swaps are kind of in order in how we did this.
It's also like the worst iteration of song swaps we could have gotten.
It really is.
Well.
It so is.
It's like,
so upsetting.
So we get WJSN and Vivi's switching songs, and like that's actually fine. Like that's okay.
That's kind of what.
It's unfortunate they both do like absolute shitty with it. But
that's kind of what we asked for when we first did our ranking. We did say WJSN and Vivi should switch. Yeah. We didn't say the other two because the other two would have been better the other way around. But it's fine.
Mm-hmm. And then Kepler and Brave Girls switch songs, and then Hyolyn and Luna switch songs.
Which is interesting, because Hyolyn won the first round and chose to do a Luna song.
Which is
that's fun.
A choice.
That's interesting. We'll see how it panned out. Mm-hmm. So, in 6th place, we have Vivi's Unnatural. What the hell?
It is so confusing.
It
is so Latin, but being also incredibly un-Latin because Unnatural is not a song you can make a Latin song. So it's
the problem with it is that Unnatural, like a lot of WJSN songs, does have a very strong concept to it, which is this like elegant fairy dreamlike concept, which is just what a lot of WJSN songs are. That does not musically incline itself to like. And this isn't like tropical house Latin. No, this is like flamenco Latin.
Yeah, and it's like if we're gonna bring it back again. The boys Oh Solo Mio. It's very reminiscent of that, where it's like we went very Latin, but also the song is weirdly not edited. Fit more. The song is not very Latin, so it's just the whole thing is just confusing.
The weird thing with it just feels like it's unnatural. But just played on a Spanish guitar.
Yeah.
Not really changed at all to become Latin. Mm-hmm. It's just being played with different instruments, and I don't think that works that well.
And it's also weird because WJSN and Vivi's, I think, are the two groups whose concepts overlap the most. And each of any other WJSN song, I think, would have been a better song for Vivi's to pick than Unnatural. Because Unnatural, other than apart from, like, early WJSN, like Catch Me and Mo Mo Mo. I feel like their other songs fit Vivi so much better than Unnatural does just as a song too, because that is also a little bit less in WJSN's like regular concept for songs. So it's like a little bit of a choice, and I think they were probably trying to go for the thing where a lot of groups do on Queendom and then fail at it a lot. Where they're like, oh, we're going to try out a concept that is different from our original concept. But they went and decided to make it really theatrical to the point where it stopped making any sense.
See, that's the problem with, like, all of the iterations of this show. Like, even, again, it worked a little bit more on Kingdom because I feel like they finally understood it. Which is that I feel like a lot of these groups, because most K-pop concepts are very general. Other than, like, a VIX, which will get real specific. Like, most K-pop concepts are, like, a school concept, a fairy concept, or this or that, a bad girl, a girl crush, or whatever. The thing with a lot of the Kingdom shows is that I feel like they want to get, like, really over the top and, like, specific with the concepts of, like, that's how you get things like Very Very doing what's
Aladdin,
it called? Aladdin, Go Baby. Cause like you're getting real specific with the concept, and
you picked a song
none of your songs,
and you picked a song to do
and you
that
picked
concept
a song.
with.
Exactly. It feels like very much what, like, a big problem that happened on Road to Kingdom, which is that you picked the song.
It's like we picked a song and we picked a concept completely separate of each other and then had to make it work out
and then
somehow.
you have to mash them together.
Yeah.
Like you picked, like, again, Pentagon did,
they did Mad Max very good, and then they did Egyptian Follow.
Hey, we did find out that is just a version of Very Good, because, and Hypen also did this.
remix of it, yeah.
That's just a weird remix of Very Good, so that's not so much their fault. But, specifically, Egyptian Follow is weird. Like, even if you go to Kingdom, like, I don't know, Deadpool
with God's Menu was always, that's a weird thing.
Was a choice. Yeah, it was a choice. So I feel like this show just lends itself to people doing, and sure, sometimes it goes well, like, Wonderland pirate concept, that's fun.
That was amazing. That
was amazing.
That was such a great version of that, yeah.
Even, like, Inception with the Inception the movie. Yeah. That's kind of fun.
At least you see the exact straight line that went from song to concept there.
Or like
the Stealer as like a fucking like mob crime boss, like
yes,
like heist. Yeah,
I really feel like the Kingdom actually figured out how to do that really well.
A lot of Kingdoms, you can see the direct line that went from here is the song and here's the concept we're doing with it.
Here, yeah, you could make it over the top and theatrical. It just needs to be the right concept and the right song.
So this and then also the next one, which is the WJSN cover of Navarella.
Yeah, so we'll just add this now.
Because
WJSN covers Navarella.
This is really the only point in time where we get the atrocious, like, we have a song and we've picked a concept and we have no idea how to put the two of them together in a way that makes sense. To be honest,
sense. I don't understand what WJSN
concept for Navarella generally doesn't make a lot of sense
because
to begin
what
with.
We start with is like this real witchy shit. Mm-hmm. Like you see crystal balls. They're in like this
on a Last Supper table or something that.
And then you come out and like the background just starts being colors. Mm-hmm. There's no clear background.
Yeah.
There's also such a minimalist set. Everyone is just like vague witch attire.
If they wanted to do witches, they should have covered like Apple or something that made sense for that. Like,
that works a lot better.
And it's like they picked Navarella, and like Navarella's not a song you want.
Navarella is another like stereotypical
it, like, dark and
G-friend
creepy,
sound.
But Navarella is like not a song you need to do that with. And also, it's again where the arrangement of the song is like not changed enough to even match the concept in the first place. So we have this weird witch theme, and then you just have Navarella, which is pretty straight, just Navarella. So it just, like, the vibes, like, are so confusing the entire time.
The other problem is that I just feel like all these groups are just picking the worst G-Friend songs to do this with because, sure, one of the biggest criticisms ever with G-Friend was that they're the same song over and over, the same concept over and over again. Mm-hmm. But you can find outliers there. Apple would have been worked out well. Mm-hmm. There's G-Friend songs that sound, like, slightly off the beaten path.
Yeah.
They just picked the most G-friendy G-Friend songs.
Yeah.
Imaginable. And sure, they're the biggest G-Friend hits. Sure. Mm-hmm. But they're not the only G-Friend songs.
Yep.
Like, it's so weird.
Mm-hmm. Also, make the choreo for Navarella significantly easier in the cover.
They do.
Because, I think it was too hard for them.
The other thing is that they also have a weird dance break in the middle of a Navarella by G-Friend. I'm sorry. That's just that sentence sounds wrong. And it was wrong. Because that's also where they try to bring back the witch concept because everything gets all dark and everything. Yeah. And I'm like, why? What are we doing?
Every time I watch that performance, I'm like, what is going on here? Because it also gives me, like, weird vibes of, like, the Twilight Oh My Girl song. Because I think that's what they're going for. Except the song that they're doing is just Navarella, and it's too peppy and happy, and they did not arrange it in a way to make it the concept not peppy in any way. Happy, so
yeah,
it's just so confusing.
I don't know. It just, again, it's that problem we have in other seasons that I thought we got over.
No.
But no, it's
thankfully
we
only
picked the
really
song,
get
we
it
picked the
here,
concept.
I think. And that's
thankfully.
like the only time we see that the entire show, which is at least less than we've seen it in past seasons, so.
Fair.
And it was thankfully two groups covering each other that were just both did a really bad job at it.
Fair. I mean, for as bad as for the boys covering O Sole Mio was, at least I fully understand how we got to this concept.
Right, exactly.
It's the wrong concept. Even, like, the way B2B covered Backdoor, which was, like, that Rockstar concept, it's like, okay, this makes sense. There's a through line here.
Right.
These two don't make a sense. At least the concepts don't.
They don't. The concepts do not match the songs at all. And it's like they did very minimal to the song to try to make it match the concept, so they're just both so confusing.
Yeah. So
let's just do 3 and 4 together, because we ranked these literally in the pairs that covered each other's songs.
We do. So Brave Girl's doing Mask by Kep1er, and then Kep1er did Pool Party / the third iteration of Rolling. So let's start with Mask. Mask is, I have nothing to say about it because I found it so boring.
It's so boring. It is a different version of Mask, but it's just they made it more boring, if anything, than the original version of Mask.
They did.
So they're just walking around in like black and white filter, and it's like cool, I guess. Yeah, but I'm like, it's so
there's
boring.
Like a vague, like, I don't know if it's a heist. There's like a vague necklace always just being passed around, and I'm like, what the fuck's happening?
Vibes going on, but I like don't really know what they're going for. Like,
you can tell it's like an old Hollywood kind of like fun number. It just, whatever. I have nothing to say about it. But I do have something to say about Kep1er's Pool Party.
Yep.
So, this was genuinely... I like the idea that they couldn't get these girls new outfits, because I think these are the exact same outfits
I think they literally just wore that when they promoted Wadada at some point.
Like, these are the same outfits they've used to promote Wadada. I think it's very cute. I like this as a concept for them. I hate the fact that they had to cover Rolling again. That's definitely a management decision, which was like, look, we can't just have you cover a random Brave Girl song no one cares about.
Yeah. So it was like, sure,
add some Rollin' in there.
Rollin' in the chorus, and it like actively ruins the song because it doesn't belong there.
No, because it just sounds so out of place.
It would have been so much better had they just done Pool Party, but you know.
Because that's the thing I don't think a lot of people remember. Rollin', for as much as everyone says it's a, like, they're using it with all the current Brave Girl stuff, which is that they're doing summer songs. Yep. Rollin's not a summer song. Rollin' came out in, like, the winter. Or, like, the fall. It was never meant to be a summer song.
Yep.
We've just retroactively made it a summer song.
Yep.
The other thing I think we have to talk about is the best part of this performance.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the fact that at some point, because I hadn't seen this, but I was on TikTok and on Twitter. Everyone was just talking about one part of this performance, which is the fact that for some reason, the choreo of this, at some point, they just have Baki stand in frame, not moving, for a solid 20 seconds.
And it's just like that, and she's standing right next to a set piece. They easily could have had her just go behind that set piece, or step like 2 feet to the left out of frame in the camera.
That's the other thing, is that multiple backup dancers go behind that set piece. That set piece is there. The problem is just, it's also that she's so in frame and not doing anything. And just standing
there and, like, looks like she doesn't know what to do because she was literally told to just stand there.
It's so funny.
It's so funny.
Because, like, everyone else is moving.
Yep.
And, like, then she does move and kind of, like, you know, do something. But it's just so weird.
Yep.
That there's no point of her being there either. She could have walked off frame.
She could have.
Because I'm rewatching it. It's like, she just joins the group number at the end. She could have walked off frame. And I do wonder if that was just, like... She what happened there? She froze?
Or, like, what was happening?
Or what happened?
I feel like had she
just told her to
to
stand there.
I feel like if it had been a mistake, we would have gotten like a weird fucking Mnet edit of it or some shit.
fair. It's just so weird.
It's
I also
so
think that
weird,
they do.
though.
They also do a bunch of like dance practices. So I feel like if that was like an edit,
Yeah.
that wouldn't be in the dance practice. And I think it's also maybe in the dance practice. That's hilarious to me.
Yeah.
It's so.
Because
See, that's the kind of
I
thing
think it's also a little bit of like Bahi's resting face expression is like a little bit confused.
Fear?
So...
It kind of looks like she's like,
yeah.
oh shit.
It's like,
oh,
I guess I'm gonna stand here.
Because she's like, oh shit, I think I'm on camera.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes,
oh,
you are, honey.
Just gotta stand here.
I also like that it was Bahi, too. One of the most recognizable members. The most recognizable member of Kepler. Because we call her Huening Kai in a wig because she looks exactly like her brother.
Yep.
To a
they
scary
so
degree.
Similar.
To a scary degree, she looks like Huening Kai. Like, they look identical.
They really do.
You'd think they were twins, but they're not.
And I will also say again, we do get another dance break, but again, it like fits in the song, and I think it's fun because they bring out these ballet bar type things, and I think that was like a fun dance break at least.
It also is not a just like an electro dance break that doesn't work. It kind of fits the style of the song.
Yeah. I think it's fun. I think it's fun.
I like it.
I like it. But that's how I am with really all of the Kepler performances. Like, they're fun and I like them.
I do too. So then we gave 2 to Shake It, Luna covering Shake It, and then 1 we gave,
no, opposite.
2 we gave to Hyoling covering So What, and then 1 we gave to Luna covering Shake It.
Yep. Luna going from last to first, good for them.
Good for them. Hyolin's staying on top as she should.
Yeah, Hyoling did absolutely everything she possibly could have with So What. Like,
So What we can. I mean, So What was.
So What is one of their, I guess,
of the
least offensive songs. Cause it's like not Why Not or like something like I hate Why Not even more. So it's like So What I'm like is at least a little bit tolerable for me.
Yeah, So What is fine. I think that just overall, Hyolyn did her best with what was given her. I like the concept.
Yeah.
I love making it like Catwoman. It's really fun. Her and the hoop at the beginning, very, very nice.
Yeah, and I think the biggest problem with it is literally just that song itself, where the chorus is not a lot of vocals. It's like just a little bit of chanting and mostly an instrumental, and I think that is like not a strength of Hyolyn, because Hyolyn is like very good vocally, and so there's not a lot she can do to that chorus to add anything to it.
I feel like she would prefer it if it was more of a vocal, and the other thing is that her only other option at that point is, well, Why Not is a worse song. Just
Why
overall.
Not chorus also is worse than to try to, because that is just an instrumental, the chorus of
that is
Why
just
Not.
an instrumental.
And then she's got High or Butterfly or
which don't
Star. I guess she could have done Star, but that doesn't fit Hyolyn very well.
Hyolyn, I feel like Star could have been fine, but also Star is not one of Luna's bigger songs. So I think you have to sort of try to match like how famous and how familiar the people are with the song with what song you're gonna cover. I think High doesn't work.
Yeah, that is literally the only song that works with Hyolyn, because she's obviously not going to do Paint the Town again right after they just covered it too. So. Yeah.
The other thing was that if this was like a no holds bar, we figured out the song she should have covered.
Yeah, she should have done.
Which was
I was like, what if she went into the pre-debut Luna? And
we're like,
she pulled out Eclipse by Kim Lip and did that.
Or Sing It in the Rain. Either one. She brings back her rap, and like she's the only person on the show that can rap well.
Right. Exactly.
Really well. It would be so fun. Or do a mashup of Eclipse and Sing It in the Rain.
Exactly.
That'd be wild.
That would have been really fun.
That would have been really fun. But she can't do she's not gonna pull out pre-debut Luna.
Yeah, I also don't think they would want her to do that either.
I don't think she would either.
I think that feels like Mnet production telling her is like, you gotta pick something else.
Yeah, and if she like presents this like super well-formed idea, they're like, no.
Can you not?
The other thing is, I do wonder if they have to get approval for what song they're gonna do.
They do.
I feel like they do, because I feel like Mnet's gonna be like, no, you can't just do this random B-side of theirs that you like. No. Yeah. And so number 1 is somehow Hyolyn again, because it's Luna covering Shake It, which is originally a Sistar song.
Yep. This is very cute.
I enjoy this.
It's fun. It has a fun theme, and I think this is like actually the best well executed Luna cover of this whole show. Like, it's very cute.
Oh, absolutely.
And I do think they do such a better job at fun cute than they do at like the more hardcore stuff they're trying to do. Yeah.
Oh, we'll get to it, but we'll get to my opinions on Luna's badass concepts.
Yeah. But it's like, I would rather them do more of this type of stuff because they are actually very, very good at it. Yeah.
Again, I think one of Luna's strengths is that they have very decent vocals. Mm-hmm. And I think that this concept is better for that. They're better vocalists than they are dancers. I'll give them that. Yeah.
They're also better vocally than I think dancing and stage presence, because the stage presence is a thing with Luna that I get hung up on a lot, because it's really very questionable at times.
It is. My thing with it is I just feel like this also has, to a much lesser extent than the WSA and VV's thing, which is I think that the concept and the song don't necessarily match that well.
Yeah. But it's not. But I feel like at least overall vibes mesh together well, and it like makes sense that that's what they're doing.
Oh, absolutely! I think it fits so much better than the WJ Center VVs
both doing.
And I think it works.
Yeah.
I just think that I don't know. For me personally, I think that this fun, especially with how theatrical it is, I think Give It To Me would have worked better.
Yeah. I don't know if Give It To Me as like a song fits Luna that well.
No, I'm just saying generally speaking. Yeah. Again, I think that also it's a very safe choice, but I also think that Mnet probably wants them to do these safe choices of like, just do the biggest hit.
Mm-hmm. Because they don't tend to make, like, real deep cuts when they do these song swaps, really.
No, they won't.
I think the biggest deep cut I think anyone has ever made is when,
Sole Mio?
Yeah, when the boys decided to do O Sole Mio.
That was kind of a deep cut.
That's, like, the biggest deep cut we've gotten from these. And then it's like, we got a Kepler B-side, but Kepler has one mini album, so it's like...
Yeah, I don't think they can do Wada again.
Yeah, and then it's like Kepler and Brave Girls both had to do a B-side, but it's like, there's not a lot of options there for them, so that's kind of by default where they had to do, so...
Yeah. And I also think that Pool Party was like a second promoted single.
Yeah, it was a promoted B-side, and it got a music video, so I think it was like enough people...
I'll take it.
And the same thing with Mask, so it's like, they're both on a similar level there with that, at least.
It's fine. Yeah.
So now we're to round 3, which is like the biggest shit show around the show always, every single time.
So, yeah, the only other time we've ever done this is that there were duet performances in Queendom season 1. Mm-hmm. Those were also the worst part of that show.
The vocal duets are always the worst part of any version
Just
of this.
because I feel like they're so boring. Because
everyone picks the ballad and they're so boring.
Because what I'll say about, but like not even just a ballad, like they did such like I don't want to see Oh My Girl and Park Bomb sing together. It's weird. What are those two don't fit together. Yeah. Or like because they did
That's
like
probably
what did they do? Scarecrow? I think they did something like that.
Yeah.
They did Scarecrow. Then you had, Lovelies and Mamamoo Do I Wish You Were Gay, which was Billie Eilish, and that was nonsense. That was
somehow the best one we got, though, because the other one we got Dean's Instagram by,
oh, God, I forgot about Dean's Instagram. Yeah. The only round, I will give this to Kingdom. Kingdom had them do it in, like, pairs, so there were, like, 4 people singing. 3 people.
They had 3 people for the one team and... 5?
6.
5 or 6?
5?
6. Who was in
6.
that? 6?
Wait.
Yeah, because each group's had 2, so 6 in the other one.
Yeah, 6 total. Again,
and I think that's why I like Spark the best, because it's not a ballad.
Spark was so good.
It's so much more fun.
Even with, was it In Song that flubbed it?
Yeah, In Song with the vocal crack that is gonna haunt him for the rest of his life.
But it was phenomenal. But the whole song was phenomenal. Even them doing Love Poem by IU, the other team.
That was at least, like, that was very good. Like, as much as I disliked that, like, I was actually cover was still very good, yeah.
It did kind of sound like they were all trying to out-sing each other.
Because it was just Eunkwang really just doing it, and then Jongho doing
and
the
everyone,
Jongho belting thing that Jongho
does. The thing with it, I feel like, Jongho was trying to get to Eunkwang, but Eunkwang doesn't have to try anymore. Right. It was so much. It's a lot.
It's a lot, but it was still at least enjoyable.
It was overwhelming. It was a lot of overwhelmingness. Spark was just really good.
This season, we picked the most boring, nothing songs to cover.
Yes. So, WJSN and VVs were paired together. It's a trio, and they did Hold My Hand by IU, and oh my god, is it one of the most... they sound so shrill.
They do.
I don't know why they're just screaming into the mic. So this is where
I'd like to make the disclaimer of, like, just because you can hit a note doesn't mean you should. Because much of this is bad, because I think so many of them are singing... They're either singing in a style that makes it sound like they're strained, or they're, like, singing just barely out of their vocal range, so they're hitting notes that make it sound, like, bad whenever they're doing it.
Like, in theory, they can hit that note. They are technically hitting it. Does it sound good? Does it sound good?
No, it does not sound good.
Not at all. The other thing is, I think the staging is just really boring. Like, they have
these weird flower swing.
There's a flower string
swing, and then
one is on like a stool.
Yeah,
just a random stool with a tree,
with flowers. And then Subin is like in the audience with a flower dress, and then like a microphone with flowers.
Yeah, and then in the end, they're just all singing in like 3 mics together. Like, they're just in like a center platform. I don't know why the stage changes so much on this show, but it does. It changes every round.
It's like Kingdom. We had the same fucking stage the entire time, but we had different staging every round for Queendom too.
So, this is what happens when you bring an audience back. Mnet thinks they got money.
Yep.
But yeah, that was just like a lie.
It's boring. And then, the other one is, and we ranked these, but they're really all, for both the Volca and the dance rounds, equal. We have so few opinions on them that it's like, I don't even know what to do with this. The next one is Luna and Kepler.
These are all the things that... Yeah, these are all the rounds that no one will remember. Because I'm sorry, I completely forgot that they covered Dean's Instagram. This will be things I don't remember.
Like, I honestly am not going to remember a single one of these vocal performances tomorrow. Like, I'm going to forget about them immediately.
We had to look up what they were covering because the entire title's in Korean, and I'm like,
and they're not songs that I know well enough that I could just like pull, like, because they're all ballad or ballad adjacent. Because I'm like,
I think this. I was like, this is an EXO song, but I couldn't remember like which EXO, which early EXO ballad it is.
So many EXO ballads that are out there,
and they're all good. Like, nothing against EXO. EXO ballads are fine. EXO's great. Has great vocalists. But dear God, is it not the song that comes to mind when I think EXO?
Yeah. And that's like fine. It's like whatever.
There's like 5 people doing that.
Yeah,
6?
I think Luna sends 4 people. And Kepler sends 2. Yeah. Luna sends Hassel, Kimlip, Jinseo, and Chu. And then Kepler sends Chaehyun and Youngin, which like
that's too many.
For Kepler, that makes sense. Those are their 2 main vocals. Luna did not need to send Kim Lip and Jin Sol to that at all.
Not at all. It could have been a 4-person performance, easy. There is no reason for there to be...
There's no reason they needed to send all 4 of them.
God, there's no reason for there to be 6 people on this stage. And then sort of the one we gave the win to, just because I thought it was pretty,
very pretty, and they're also Hyolyn clearly the best 2 vocalists on the show as well. Is Hyolyn and Minyoung and Brave Girls, who covered To My Youth by Bull 4. Which...
Mind you, Hyolyn does this entire song, sings it so well, while sitting on the floor. I was gonna say,
Hyolyn's like on the ground for most of it.
Hyolyn is sitting cross-legged on the floor and sings better than the rest of these people. Everyone else on this show. It's insane. She's so good.
And then we're gonna get to the dance part, which I think is the worst thing they have ever done for this round.
This is genuinely maybe the worst round the show has ever had. And nothing to do with the people on it.
No, it is 100%. This is the worst structure of this round they have ever thought of. Because number one, it's stupid. It's a stupid plug for Street Woman Fighter.
Which again had already basically finished by this point.
And they're gearing up to do Street Man Fighter now, so
I know.
It's not like they need to bring attention to new Street Woman Fighter. Like, that's already done.
It's also not like, that's what I'm saying. It's also not like Street Woman Fighter was gearing up for its finale or something. No, the Street Woman Fighter at this point had been finished.
And essentially how the dance round works is there are 3 completely new songs. These are original songs that have choreography by, like, a couple of the dance crews that were on Street Woman Fighter, essentially.
Yep.
There's 3 of them, and then they each choreographed a song, and then they were given to one of the groups.
Pairs.
These pairs are also different than the pairings they were in the vocal round. They are with different people for the dance round.
It's a completely different... Yeah. So, essentially, these groups didn't really get a choice of who they were paired with, and didn't really get a choice in what song they got, and so didn't really have a choice in... they didn't get to change the choreo in any way.
They literally were just given a song and told to learn the choreo. And number one, I think it invalidates the round completely, because number one, it depends so much on those original songs and how much people like those songs.
Yes,
that
entirely.
And it's also because they are just given a choreography and told to execute it. There's nothing they can execute that as well as they want. And if the choreography is bad because it's given to them by someone else, there's nothing else they can do with that, because it's like they're just given it and told to do it. And so little of it is actually based off of them and their dance skills, because you have all of these external factors that are now, like, into it. And also, because Street Woman Fighter was as big as it was, I'm sure people are also out there voting for this crew on that they like the best and want to support them. So it feels like it invalidates the entire thing, because you have, like, 3 very large external factors that are influencing the voting anyway. That it's, like, not a judged dance skill, because it's literally, they're given a choreography and told to do it, and if that choreography sucks, like, well, it's too bad. Oh well.
Yeah. The other thing with it is just that, for as much as I will rag on Queendom Season 1 this round for them, at the very least, whether or not they choreographed it themselves, which they probably didn't, but they probably had a choreographer come in. Every single person, every single one of those people that did a solo dance, that was their style, that was their dance, that was their choice in what they did.
Exactly.
This is entirely, like, them just being given a performance. They're given a performance. That's
and told
all they're
to
doing.
Do it. And, like, I feel like that's completely missing the entire point of round 3A to begin with.
I know.
It's like,
because
really
at the very least with, like, that, like, sure, these are the most boring version of covers of both of those 3 songs. They're just straight covers. They don't do anything interesting with it. But for the most part, they're ballads. They're going to show your vocal ability if you sing it well. Exactly. Whatever. This is just showing that they can do choreo. You know what else shows they can do choreo?
Copy choreography,
their song.
Which is literally what they do every freaking comeback
like, that's their job.
Yeah. And it's like, at least if, like, they were given the songs and then they were told to work with the choreographers, and if they had even a little bit more, like, input there or something. I feel like if they were allowed to at least choreograph the original songs, it would have been better. But it's just, so terrible.
The other problem is that 2 of the songs
are so similar in concept that the third song, I feel like, won by default because it was a different concept. Like, I feel like that is the only reason it won, is because the first 2 songs, which are Kaboom and Purr, are so similar in concept that people probably couldn't differentiate the 2 of them from each other and voted for the third one by default.
Yeah, not enough that it matters. Yeah. Also, I don't even want to... They're all boring. They're all fine. I have 0 opinions on any of them. To be honest with you, I don't want to talk about much more of them. So it's Kepler and Vivi's did Purr. Luna and Brave Girls did Tell Me Now. And Hyolyn and WJSN did Kaboom. I have no opinions on any of these, to be honest. Yeah. Do you, Kayla?
No. I feel like... No. The only thing is I feel like in the Luna Brave Girls one, I feel like the Brave Girls one, like, fucks up a move in the middle, and that's the only thing I remember about it. But they end up winning anyway.
I will say, the only thing that I want to talk about with the Hyolyn WJSN one is that Hyolyn has so much more stage presence that whenever she is just there, I do not look at the other 2 in any capacity. Like, the other 2 do not. The other 2 are backup dancers at this point.
Might as well.
Exactly.
And
so let's move on.
Because this round sucked. This is a terrible round. This is probably the worst iteration of round 3 we've gotten in this entire series.
I truly hate round 3. I think, personally, if this show continues, which it might, I don't know. I think we're going to run out of groups eventually because, dear God, I think that I don't think we're ever going to get onto the road to Kingdom.
No.
God willing, we don't. Just steal that round.
Yeah.
Just steal it. make it be, I don't even need round 3B. Just steal
That's
the round.
The thing that also gets me is they are so insistent on calling it round 3A and round 3B. Why can't we
Instead
just
of
do
round
round
3 and round 4?
4 and round 5? Like, why can't we just separate them out from
I don't
each
know.
other? It literally
Do they pay
no
these people?
difference.
Do they pay these people by the round? They're like, nah, if we give them 5 rounds, we gotta pay them extra.
Yep.
Jesus, I don't know. But no, I think just steal from Road to Kingdom. That is the best iteration. I think that, sure, you're gonna get some duds in there, but you get duds in this. I'd take that over this.
Duds doing it the way that we are right now, so... Okay,
so round 3B, we're gonna
cover their own songs again, except for Kepler. Because they are out of songs.
And also, I don't actually... Like, Mnet doesn't really explain the rounds that well. They just sort of are like, and here is round 3.
Round 3 is all... B for Queendom is always entitled, like, it's like a quote-unquote, like, fan's choice, or, like, it's a things that you think your fans would want to see, which is, like, pretty stupid.
Does not actually give me anything that they would do. I personally like what the guys in Kingdom did, because I think it was the same round for them. Yeah. And the guys in Kingdom were just like, okay, let's just do something weird.
The themes of the round are so stupid that you can do whatever the hell you want with them, really. Other than the round where you have to do a song by another group.
That's what I'm saying.
The rounds are given such broad and, like, wide meaning that it really
That's why I'm
matter.
thinking possibly they get more, like, my obviously question is, like, we're getting these rounds presented to us. Mm-hmm. The question I then have is this like a RuPaul's Drag Race situation where like the rounds that the groups are given are slightly more detailed of like, these are the things we would prefer that you do. Like, these are your rules that you have to follow, but like to us, we're just told fans' choice or whatever. Right. Again, I think Kingdom did this so much better because they just did weird shit with it. Uh-huh. Like, I don't know, they did Classy Savage. No one did Classy Savage. No one did Move. No one did anything like Move. Move was wild.
Yeah. I do think 3B is the best round of performances we get out of this show.
It is. Overall.
3B, just generally, is the one with the best performances, I think. Because at that point, we're so far into this show that I think groups have, like, figured out, like, what the hell they should be doing in the first place.
Fair.
So they haven't figured out a little bit better.
I just think that these round was so, like, safe and basic that they were just like, oh, I'm just gonna cover another one of my songs. Uh-huh. Let me just cover a slightly different, or like, I don't know. I just think that there could have been so many other things to do. Like, this is the round where you could have given something like I don't know. I don't like Do Mix with God's Menu. It was a choice.
It was also a really stupid thing that led up to that, too, so...
It was, but I honestly think that, like, just, like, that kind of an idea is more interesting than just covering one of your own B-sides. Even, like, B2B. B2B covered one of their B-sides, but they
made an entire musical out of it, which made it
it made it a musical with a plot and got Miyun from G-Idol to be in it. What did the boys do?
They did Monster by EXO, and Sunwoo jumped out of the mouth of a snake. But it was like a really terrible, like, arrangement of Monster.
It was a weird arrangement of Monster, but I think
it had to be Game of Thrones related still too. Yeah, so it was like really
because everything they did on that show was Game of Thrones related. Now I remember that was wild, man. That show was wild, man. What the hell did ATEEZ do?
ATEEZ did Answer, but they brought in that ballad group to sing opera break in the middle
opera
of it.
Answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, now that we just went through that entire round of Road to Kingdom, let's do the more boring version.
Yeah, so round 3B of Queendom 2, in 6th place, we have Brave Girls, who covered Red Sun, which is a really terrible, like, CF song that they did.
It also sounds so bad.
Like, easily one of their worst songs. Like, it sounds so bad.
Also, they kind of mix it with, we think it's Papa Valley's canon. Which it might be, or it's another
I think it's a different
Christmas
one, but it's a similar.
I think it is
similar thing.
It's just like Christmas music.
Yeah,
like a Christmas piano music that like I can't remember the name of because in a weird
way I think that makes Red Sun a better song than the original Red Song because the original Red Sun is very bad. So at least with the weird Christmas vibes, it's a slightly better, but it's also...
It's slightly less annoying. It's not that abrasive. Instrumental from the chorus, which is awful and very abrasive. But still, I think,
and it's just why are we doing Christmas? I also think, because the entire theme of that performance is also looking back in their career and, like, how they got to where they are now, they should have used their new song for that. Because their new song should have used their new song. It's like, why did they pick this, like, really shitty CF song for this?
They could have. There's so much they either should have, and I really wanted Brave Girls at one point to do Deep End.
Yeah.
I either wanted them to, you could have either of those songs work better, because it's either your debut song Together or your new song Thank You. Pick something. And Thank You Don't do a weird
so much
CF
better
song.
Of a song too. Yeah. This is like actively their worst song that they decided to put with this, and again they're trying to go for the summer vibes, but the summer vibes aren't fitting with the song or the concept this time.
Or the Christmas.
So it's just very bad.
And also, our absolute hatred of Christmas doesn't help. Hatred of Christmas music.
Yep.
Bad.
So
then we get, at 5th place, we get VV's Bop Bop. Which, again, I feel like we've already done Bop Bop, but, like, looking back, we haven't.
But
I think it's just because Bop Bop was so new at the time that they had just finished promoting Bop Bop when they started the show, that I'm like, oh, we already did this, didn't we? And I'm like, no, they did this, like 2 weeks ago on Mnet's M Countdown.
Weird about this was I had been asking for VV's to cover Bop Bop the entire time they were on the show, because they were doing G-Friend. And I was like, they need to just cover their own music that's clearly written for them, and maybe it'll be good. And then they pulled out this weird Mean Girls Bop Bop, and I'm like, hey, I was wrong. That was also really bad.
Very bad. Also, we figured out the most interesting thing we did while watching this, because we watched all these before we started recording this. The most interesting thing we did is we figured out which member of the Plastics, each of them. So Sinbi is obviously Regina George. We made Unha Karen.
Yep.
And then
Gretchen.
Is Gretchen.
Yep.
And none for Gretchen Wiener's bye.
Yep.
So that was the most exciting thing we did while watching
this is another thing where it's like the song and the concept are like
don't fit.
Not happening. It's a less egregious way than we got earlier in the
weirdly,
series, but
it's not... like Bop Bop is not a bad song, so like this isn't terrible. I just don't know why. The only thing I'm getting is Mean Girls.
And the line to Mean Girls is a little bit like less obscure and like convoluted than.
And also, I don't fully know if it was on purpose, because it could also just be high school, and we're reading really.
We were wearing pink, and it's like Mean Girls High School, like Mean Girls. Like
there's 3 of them. Like
Mean Girls.
Again, I also think that the 2 of us being, in our mid-20s are very at the perfect age range to always read this as Mean Girls. So
Mean Girls.
We read Mean Girls. Yep. So even if it was unintentional, it reads Mean Girls.
Yep.
Also, now that we've called Unha Karen from Mean Girls specifically, I will never unsee it.
I know.
I love it.
And Sinbi got weirdly, I think, like, Sinbi and Unha both got edited pretty badly in the show.
They did. They did. Sinbi got the
Sinbi did get a Regina edit on Queendom.
She did get a Regina edit. It's unfortunate.
In 4th, we have Luna's Butterfly. That's a pretty straight cover of Butterfly. There is not
the other thing that we've seen with it is that how hard Butterfly is to sing live, because those are not notes.
I've always not like a person can just hit singing live easily.
That's also partially why both you and I hate this song generally. I hate the way they say Butterfly in this song, and I think they don't particularly like the way they have to sing it either.
Yep.
They don't look like they're having fun hitting those notes.
Yeah, I feel like if you just changed, I don't know, if you rearrange a song to get those notes out of the chorus to avoid having them sing it live, I think the song is significantly better as a live performance, because it's like
it really
you can listen to that like the song fine, but once you have to sing it live, it becomes like impossible.
I mean, note that Fly Like a Butterfly bit is like no one can hit those notes. It's also cute. I never liked that song.
No, not great.
But it's you know, it's fine.
It's honestly just a pretty straight cover Butterfly. They don't do a lot to it that is different. It is.
So Kep1er gets to cover The Boys by Girls' Generation. Yep. Okay, so my biggest complaint with this is that, okay, I don't love this song generally. Yeah, it's kind of just a straight cover of The Boys. It is. But you want to know what this song needed? Everything the same. Keep everything the same. Just make it Run Devil Run.
The concept fits so much better for Run Devil Run than The Boys that it is weird watching
Why are they doing The Boys?
And seeing it and it not being Run Devil Run. Because everything about it screams Run Devil Run.
Run Devil Run.
Except it's The Boys.
That's the weird thing with a lot of covers of The Boys. Mm-hmm. Is that they kind of... Everyone tries to make The Boys but a little bit darker. And I'm like... That's just Run Devil. So just cover Run Devil Run.
If you take The Boys,
which is a better song.
Dark fantasy, like now you're in Run Devil Run. That's just where it is.
Just do Run Devil. And I think the problem is Run Devil Run is a less famous Girls' Generation song. Less people remember Run Devil Run.
Yeah.
But honestly, is it just because we're old that we're like, no, just do Run Devil Run?
That fits this.
It's the same
better.
song.
Yeah.
It fits so much better. Just do Run Devil Run.
And it's not like this doesn't work for The Boys because it's still a good cover, but
it's fine. I just think it would be a better performance.
Run, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like the song, if it was Run Devil Run, I'd like it a lot more.
Yeah.
Just because that song is so much better than The Boys.
Yep.
So then we have Pantomime by WJSN. So they covered a B-side of theirs.
Yep.
This gives me very much that song that B2B covered in
Blue Moon.
Kingdom.
Yeah, it's got the similar vibe where it's very theatrical, very musical theater. And they do a lot of fun things at the beginning with like the light background stuff.
Yeah,
like,
it's very fun.
Cool.
It's less interesting than The Boys because they don't make a full musical with parts and characters and character development.
Yep. It is
but
just it's very fun. Musical theater, but it is very fun. I think that's a thing that's like pretty well executed and also fits WJSN well.
Yeah, I have not. As we go on, there's like less opinions because all my major grievances we've already talked about.
Ones,
yeah. And then number 1 is Hyolan doing Bae and CC. I love that she did CC, because that's my favorite Hyolan solo song.
Yeah. And it's very good. It's
so good. I think she fully understands, because this is like sort of a straight cover of CC. She got casted on the
song and like immediately understood like the point of the show and like what she should be doing
She did.
Whereas I feel like some of the other groups had to take a little bit to figure it out, but Hyolan came in and immediately knew what she should be doing and what the show was about.
Because the thing with this is that this is sort of a straight cover of CC, but like it fits so well. And like, the thing with it is that it's a straight cover,
like,
but the
fun too. The way the stage is set up and everything.
Yeah, like the stage elevates it. Not so much the song needs to be changed and remixed and everything done with it.
Yeah.
Because also a song like CC being remixed is really weird. Like that song is already like kind of it. I don't know what you would do with it, to be honest. Not saying you can't. I'm just saying that, like, I have no idea where you can take it.
It is pretty much a straight cover, but it's been elevated for, like, live performance reasons, and it is very good.
And also then you have, like, the blacklight, dance break, which was really fun, and, like, made it a whole lot extra. I also, kind of love the random, like, girl in the high school uniform that you get.
Yeah.
Who's just dancing her heart out.
Just there, yeah.
I don't know who that is. No, I don't know if I'm supposed to know who that is.
No idea.
I don't think I am, but she gets a feature, and I'm hoping, like, you know, she looks like she's having the time of her life. Hyolan kind of just, like, lets her dance her heart out, and I'm like, damn. Good for her. Hyolan killed it on this show, man. So now we have the individual, new songs. And, mind you, up to this point, Hyolan has won the majority of these rounds because, of course, she has. Look at her. Look at everything she's done. She's won almost every single one of our rounds, except for, like, she came second once. Like, she's been thriving.
Yep.
But the problem is, the way this show is set up is that nothing matters until the finale, essentially. They put so much on streaming. And how the final songs are actually going to sell and be looked at, that
Yeah, so much of
None of it matters.
much of the weight of it is put on live voting and then streaming performance of the new songs that the entire first 3 rounds of the show are completely useless. Essentially.
Absolutely useless.
It was a little bit more so in Kingdom than it was in Queendom. I think they fixed the voting weight a little bit, but it's still just...
It's still mostly on the finale.
It is so heavily on the finale and the song
It would
streaming.
take someone so much, like, effort. Like, you can come, like, first in the other 3, but if you have a powerhouse in streaming of popularity, you're going to just... And that's the other thing, is I feel like this show doesn't need a winner.
Yeah.
This show does... Like, the winner doesn't actually matter on this show. It never has. Like, this is only for... Especially for us, the winners of the show are never the people that we particularly loved.
The winners of the show are always the people with the largest fandom, and that is, again, what happens here. So it's, like, not really surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it was a little bit less apparent this season who the winner was going to be right from the beginning, but, like, going into Queendom, you could kind of see from the beginning Mama was going to win that regardless. And then Stray Kids and the boys were obviously going to win Road to Kingdom and Kingdom because their fandoms were just so much bigger. It's a little bit less apparent with this just because the, like, caliber of groups is lower.
And it also depended on, like, and it also depended on how much... Obviously, there's always a thing with international voting and whatever, but for the most part...
Yeah, international voting is also weighted significantly less, so that's why ATEEZ didn't win Kingdom.
And that's also why Luna didn't win.
And that's why Luna didn't win this, yeah.
So yeah, it's really a Korean show for Koreans. It's also so much harder to vote as an international fan. It's so many extra steps. Oh my god.
And that is, like, not something I'm ever mad about, that Korean voting is weighted so much more than international voting. Like, I don't care. Like, I think that's fair to keep it. Whoever has the biggest Korean fandom is who's gonna do the best, like, honestly.
Because also I think that is just, it adds so much more complication with the international fans. Yeah. And, like, also, you have to remember, this show is not made for us.
Yeah, this is, like, a South Korean show, like, for people in South Korea.
Mind you, also the fact that, for the most part, this show only runs because it airs on television, and you want to know why television airs? Ad money.
Yeah.
They're not getting any ad money from the international fans that do this. They watch all the YouTube videos. Those make no money. They all did new songs. The worst new song and the worst song. One of the worst songs. So, on Kingdom, we did say we found one of the worst songs of the year when we watched Kingdom. And we did find one of the worst songs of the year. Just so happens that group did even worse later on.
Yes, they outdid themselves by being even worse.
They outdid themselves on bad.
Yeah.
I think the same. I haven't said this to you, Kayla, but I think the same has happened.
It'll probably be there unless they release like Stray Kids release a worse song or other people release worse songs, but it'll probably stay there until the end of the year on the worst of the year list.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. This has a high chance of being on our
unless
top 10
their
worst
new
list.
comeback song is worse.
Maybe
this will be there.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yes. So our worst song at 6th place, maybe at 20th place if it's a big ass gap, is Luna's Pose. I cannot.
This is a boy group
nonsense.
A boy group noise song. Like.
It really is.
It's like a bad NCT, like
NCT
127
song?
Japanese song is what this song is.
It's so bad.
I want to know who produced this, because this does sound like it's a fucking, like, Dem Joints, like, song, because that is exactly what he would make.
It kind of feels like it's Dem Joints. You want to know who's the least intimidating group in K-pop? Luna.
Yeah. Watching the live stage only made this song worse. Like, just how, like, me reading the lyrics of Wolfgang made that song significantly worse. Watching them try to do this badass concept and failing, like,
so tremendously,
so bad at it.
It plays to none of their strengths.
It does not. And it's, like, so many of them. It's like there's about, like, I don't know, probably like 4 or 5 of them who do really well, but the rest of them are struggling at it so much.
Again, I wouldn't say really well. I would say they can pull it off. But do any of them look super comfortable with it? No, because they just threw it at them, and this is something that they have never done before. It's so... I really hope that this is not the direction that they're trying to take Luna in.
I know, but I think, considering their last handful of songs from, like, Why Not into Paint the Town into this is, like, this is the direction they're going, but they are so bad at it.
It really is. Oh my god. The other thing with this is that the unfortunate part with this kind of concept is that you kind of would need to have a decent rap verse in it. They don't have
rappers. Like, they don't have any rappers.
They do, but they're not, like, rappers that you need for this.
Yep.
Oh my god, it's so like...
bad.
And, like, also you have, like, that kind of hardcore dancing. They're trying to do the dance, they're trying to do the very Blackpink thing, and a lot of girl groups do, which is, just hard movements like a boy group, and also not this, like, oh, we're gonna look tough, we're not gonna, like, try so hard. I'm just like, no, you just look like you're, like, you just looks bad. I don't know what's going on here.
It's really bad, yeah.
Is this where you want to also talk about the industrial,
Oh yeah, so the finale stage, so we have a different setup for this finale stage, because of course we do. For some reason, we have these, like, industrial-sized, like, lifts on the stage that move, like, up and down for people to, like, get on and off.
And I have
them.
no idea
like,
why they are
those
required
there?
to be so industrial. Like, it's also, like, because a lot of times for that kind of stuff, they would try to camouflage it with something. It's not. It looks
right
fully
there,
industrial.
right in the front. Just a full industrial, like, lift, or, like, right in the front of the stage.
Because the way the stage is that you have the main stage, and then it kind of makes, like, a square around, like, a pit where a bunch of cameras are.
So you can go out on the runways and out into, like, a secondary stage.
So there's, like, there's side runways, and then there's a front runway. The lift is at the front of the stage, before you get to the, like, it's right there. It's the middle of the stage. It's center stage.
Right there. It's so confusing why that's there.
It makes no sense.
And it is just kind of like an eyesore in every one of these finale performances. It's like, oh, there goes the industrial lift again.
But then it also cuts it off where, like, people have to be in the front of the other stage or on the sides. Yeah, because
there's a fucking whole thing in the way.
Yeah, but, like, people have to, like, the majority of the group has to be in the front of the stage, or else they're gonna get blocked by the industrial lifts in the back.
Yep.
Ugh. I never want to think about this song again, but we probably will at the end of the year.
Yep. Alright, in 5th, we have WJSN's Aura, which is, like, one of the least WJSN songs. And I don't know why they decided this was what they needed to do for the finale, because it is not appealing to their strengths in the slightest.
I feel like both WJS and Luna had the similar strategy of, like, let's just go all out with a different concept. The shock will bring people to it. People are going to be so interested in all the new stuff we're doing.
Yeah.
And, like, they're trying to do, it's weird, because I'm trying to describe what this concept is, because it's not a full sexy concept.
It is, like,
it's not like WJSN
if you
the
took
Black.
on natural and you made it a little bit more badass is kind of where it's at.
But, like, badass, but leaning toward, like, seduction, weirdly.
It's weird, yeah. It's, like, halfway between Unnatural and, like, WJSN the Black. It's in, like, a weird space there.
It is. It's a weird I don't know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. It is giving a little bit of, what was the lovely song? You just said it to me, like, an hour ago, and I already forgot it. Yeah, Moonlight.
It's like, if you took that and, like, Lion and mixed them together, it's like you'd get this.
A little bit.
But it's weird that is the finale, the song they went with for the finale.
It is weird. It's fine. I don't hate it. It's just not really what I want from WJSN.
No, not at all. And third, we have Whistle by Brave Girls, which is fine.
Whistle.
The song-wise, it is trying again, we're going back to the whole summer bop thing that they're doing.
It is. It sounds almost exactly like stuff like, what is it? Chamiram
is so very similar to that.
It sounds so similar.
It's very similar to that. The staging, I think, makes the song worse. Because it's very... Staging is very confusing.
My main question is, why are there random pieces of tulle attached to their outfits?
I think, yeah, that's really what it is the outfit choices are, for the backup dancers and also for them, are so confusing.
The backup dancers almost make more sense because they're all in white.
Yeah.
Why the hell are they in tie-dye?
Like, weird half
there's also
tie-dye,
tulle.
and, like, it's very, they just don't look that good. Like, they were not styled well for that performance.
They aren't styled well. They're barefoot, which I don't love.
That was also a choice to be barefoot. The choreography is not that good either.
It is not.
So it's like, I listened to the song before I saw the stage, and the song is fine. Like, I don't hate it. And then I saw the stage, and I'm like, now it's worse. Like, now this song is worse.
Yeah. It's fine. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I just think that they could have done something
better with that.
Because like this is like the opposite of what the other two are doing, where the other two are just going in the weirdest direction imaginable.
And this is like, we want the
They're
very
like
expected,
doing the
safe
same
direction.
And neither of those are particularly that exciting.
No. And it's just like, other groups went the expected safe direction, but executed it a lot better. So
yeah. So then Hyolyn did a third. We did Waka Boom, which is her worst performance on the show.
Yeah, her finale performance is somehow her worst one of the whole show, because this song is not a Hyolyn song.
No.
It's like, it's like, why this song? And it's like, the performance feels fine. The performance still feels Hyolyn-like, but it's like, why this song?
The song kind of feels a little bit like if you kind of mixed.
It's like, it's got the vibes of the Pentagon Egyptian follow.
It does.
It's got vibes of that. It's got vibes of
Classy
Savage by Icon, and with a little bit of G-Idol fire in there.
It does. If you want to just compare it to a soloist, it feels like it's Jessie, but with vocals.
It does. It does feel like if Jessie put out a song that was majority vocals, it does seem very similar to that. Because it's got the weird, like, ethnic hip thing that G-Idol does sometimes. And it's just, because it's kind of, like, Egyptian sounding, and it's just, like, what is happening? The chorus goes full in on the ethnic hip, and it's just, like, so confusing. Because I don't see Hyolyn releasing this as a solo song outside of this show, like, ever.
No, not at all. I feel like it's her trying to do something a little different.
Yeah, and then again, we're just not, it wasn't the best idea.
We're not executing it that well. So at 2, really making a comeback in these last moments.
In a complete opposite from Hyolyn, we have VV's as Red Sun, which is easily their best performance of the entire show.
Oh, by far. It's so good. Because it's them playing to their strengths. Yep. It sounds a little bit like Bop Bop, because it's that, like,
it's a little bit almost kind of like an early
feeling.
IU song. It's got the vibes of that.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It gives very, like, it's you and I, like,
it's very like orchestral,
you and I vibes.
And very pretty, and it does seem like that concept in this song just fits them very well.
It feels like a little bit musical theater too. Yeah. I think it's kind of retro-y, kind of fun. It's very cute. I like it. The
performance is very fun. It is like kind of Alice in Wonderland themed, and the song I think is like, it's like, this is where they finally figured out. It's like, we have to make songs that are for us specifically and not for G-Friend. And they do tell the story at the finale about how apparently they had like, someone had pitched this song to G-Friend, and the other 3 members of G-Friend didn't want to do this song, but 3 of them liked it.
Fully understand. I think this would be a bad G-Friend song.
It doesn't fit G-Friend,
honestly.
but I feel like now that they have it and the 3 of them are doing it, like, it's fine. Like, this, I think
this is what these 3 should be doing for forever, because this is actually really fun for them. They're having so much fun doing this. It's so theatrical. It's, like, over the top in a fun way.
The direction they went with their music, like, this is, like, very good. Like, this is where I think they should be doing.
I like it a lot. It's very fun.
And then,
the best song,
the best one, is Kepler's The Girls.
What the hell happened here?
I don't know, but it, like...
How did Kepler win?
They won best... I don't know how they ended up winning this, but it's, like, the best Kepler song, generally.
Oh, no, this is the best song. I think it mainly is just because this is the best song Kepler has released.
Yeah, it's, like, also, I think it is, like, combined with the fact that by the end of the show, I understand what Kepler is as a group and what their style is and, like, what they should want to do and should be doing. And it, like, makes sense now, and I think this song is, like, very much, like, a good, like, yeah, this is a Kep1er song, this is the vibe of the group. Like, I get it now.
I do too. I think that it just works so well for them.
They do. This is such a good song, both generally, because I like it a lot, and also it's a very good song.
The other thing is that the other thing with it is that, I think that they understand, like, this isn't them, it's like the midway between the other two. This isn't them staying and doing just pure Wada concept.
Yeah.
But they're not doing something entirely different. Right. This is an evolution.
Because it's slightly more of a badass concept than, like, Wada was and stuff.
And unlike Luna, somehow these tiny little girls can pull it off.
Yes, and I think that's, like,
unlike Luna,
very apparent, because a lot of the girls who are in Kep1er, like, could do this concept well when they were on, like, Girls Planet 999 and everything. And even the ones who are more cute, I think, are not doing a bad job at this concept at all. So,
and I think that they fit it better than so many of those
easily,
who really just do not look like that is not the concept that they want to be doing with their careers. Again, the problem with the Luna song isn't that I don't think girl groups can do it. I think that
Luna specifically can't do that,
Exactly.
They're not very good at it.
So, good for Kep1er.
If anything, I came out of this song, or, like, this whole show, liking Kep1er a lot more than I did going into it.
I know.
Because it's, like, weirdly, because they didn't have the weird elimination style thing like Road to Kingdom did, they got to do the whole show on, like, 2.
I know,
on, like, 2. In the middle. But I feel like it was good for them to be on this show and do these stages and sort of figure out who they are as a group and kind of get a better idea for that.
This did help them sort of figure out what is the next stage of Kep1er.
And, like, they're an Mnet plan on this show, but honestly, I like them better now, having seen them on this show anyway. And so it worked, even though, and it worked for 2 well, when 2 went on Road to Kingdom, so.
Like, Mnet knows what to do with this. Like, for as much as we'll complain that they're there, I still like it.
Yeah.
So, I think that now we're just gonna tell you our top
5 and bottom
favorite
6.
performance. Bottom 6.
Yeah.
Shall we start with the bottom 6 and we'll end on some positivity?
First, yeah.
It's mainly just because we couldn't decide between 5 and 6. We were like...
They're like, either of these could be in the
they're about
bottom,
equal.
but it's like, well, I guess we'll just stick it on there too, since it's pretty much equally as bad.
Here's the thing. I feel like overall, if we were to divide into a good column and a bad column of these performances, there'd be more on the bad column. So that's why it gets 6.
Yep.
So, for our bottom 6, we have, in 6th place, we have Luna's Paint the Town.
Yep.
A wild ride all around. 5 is Vivi's Bop Bop.
Yep.
And then 4 is WJSN's Novelera. I feel like Novelera was a little bit worse than Bop Bop. Bop Bop tried something. Yeah. Novelera was
just like none of that was happening.
Vivi's covering Unnatural, even worse of a disaster. Then we have Brave Girls' Red Sun, mainly just because that song is so bad.
And there's really not a lot of anything you can do with that to make it good.
No. And then the worst song is Luna's Pose, the only song we're considering actually putting on our worst of the year
list.
It's
such a bad song. It's so bad. In a weird way, worse than Wolfgang in the fact that at least when Stray Kids did Wolfgang, they look like they're at least, like, doing that well. But when the song is bad and the group is not doing the concept well, it's, like, almost double bad.
That's the thing of just, like, at least I understand why Stray Kids did
because that
Wolfgang.
Is just, like, Stray Kids going too hard at being Stray Kids, but, like, they're all doing it, and they're doing it, like, equally as well all around, so...
With Luna, they are going the opposite direction I think they should be going, and it's bad. So now we want to talk about the good. There was some good.
There was some.
I don't know if the good hits the good of any of the other seasons, because
not even close.
Thinking about it, like, if we think about Queendom 1, the standout performance was always going to be
Oh My Girl Destiny.
Obviously. And, like, there were some other good performances, mainly from Oh My Girl, but they thrived on that show, but, like, that's the standout. Road to Kingdom, you have for us, it's...
The A lot of the boys' stuff there.
The boys' stuff is very good. The boys doing...
The boys' reveal, I think, is one of the other than the Heroine boys one
Heroine, which we talked about. Yeah, Heroine, the boys, and One Us. I also think that lip performance is very good by One Us. Also, Photo by Very Very, also like, phenomenal.
Yeah, the boys' Danger, all of those were like our top.
Yeah,
those are
all those
top,
are great.
Our top 5 of that season, yeah.
And then for Kingdom, which I think has the highest highs.
It has the highest highs of any of the seasons, yeah.
And at this point, we used to say it has the highest highs, the lowest lows. Trust me, this is no longer the low.
Post might get put Wolfgang just because of the failure on both the execution and the song
on both fronts
being bad, yeah.
Because the weird thing is that, like, while I do think that maybe the songs on things like Road to Kingdom and Kingdom might have been more of a disaster, I at least felt like I was entertained. Yeah.
I feel like Kingdom as a whole is a more fun watch. Just because the highs are so high and the lows are so low, that there's like a lot of contrasting emotions going on there.
There's so many You have ATEEZ's Wonderland, you have Full Dash, you have Classy Savage, you have like there's just so much fun. Spark, I would even say, is a high. Like Spark is so good. Inception, I enjoy. Icon did so well on that show, to be honest. Even stuff like, I don't know, they've made a decent version of a song I hate. They made a decent version of Backdoor on that show. It's wild sometimes what Kingdom was able to pull out. I feel like I'm looking at our top 5 and I'm thinking back to the highs of that. And I'm like, does it hit?
The highest, like our favorite one is by Hyolyn. And I feel like that goes like midway, and for ranking all of the Queendom performances, it goes like in the middle, and that is the highest we can maybe get push the entire.
We can push it like upper quarter, maybe if we're generous. Pushing it, yeah. So our top 5 are Vivi's Red Sun, their
their finale single,
new song, their finale single. Then Luna covering Shake It. At 4, 3 is Kepler's The Girls, 2 is Hyolyn's Bae/CC, and 1 is Hyolyn's doing Touch My Body. And honestly, these are all very good performances. These are not like they're mid overall performances.
Yeah, it's like
to be
we
honest.
Did not reach the highs of past seasons, but it's like, and besides Pose, we didn't really reach a lot of lows. They weren't as low as some of the other seasons were, at least. But that just made the whole season very boring, to be honest.
It was just so meh. And the problem
it doesn't help that I don't care about most of these groups anyway, so that didn't help the matter, but there's just so much, like, mid this entire season.
I just wish there was, like, something there. Yeah. And I just don't know what was the...
There wasn't a lot of anything anywhere in the whole show.
No.
And this is why we did not podcast Queendom every round, because generally...
No, that would have hurt
It would have been painful for me.
We would have given up, to be honest. We really would have just given up.
Halfway through the show, it's like, we're gonna reconvene at the finale, and that's all you're gonna get.
Yeah, it's like, we'll come back later, because I can't.
I think round 3A would have, like, completely destroyed it.
Oh my god. Round 3A, I would have just been like, Kayla, we can't. We'll wait for 3B to come out, if anything, because I can't. I forgot, because I knew I had watched those performances before we, like, were sitting here gonna rank them. I forgot.
Yep.
I forgot everything about them.
Yep.
Alright, so that is... Oh, I had a final thought for you, Kayla.
Yes.
So, I feel like we're gonna continue to get Queendom seasons.
I feel like now that we've gone so far,
now that we're so far
in, we might as well just keep getting more worse versions of it every time.
Question. So we have 6 slots open for Kingdom. Let's say we never do a Road to Kingdom again, which I don't think we should.
I feel like we only have groups available to do Road to Kingdom, but
I say we scrap it and we just make it be.
Yeah.
Road to Kingdom was a one-off bullshit that we did. We regret doing it. Who can we cast on Kingdom? Who gets
casted on here? And this is also good. I think I'm going to go with the assumption that apparently Kingdom doesn't like male soloists.
Yeah,
so
I don't know why
throw out male soloists for that. Only female soloist on this series.
Yeah, we're gonna play by the rules of only the precedent that has been set.
So here's the problem, is now we're also reaching the point where the groups who should go on this are in the military.
That's
or
the
close
problem.
to the military. Like, Astro feels like a lock for Kingdom, but Astro is, like, right there
they
on
don't
the
have
military
MJ
list,
anymore.
So
they already don't have MJ.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna try to keep it to groups that are still around. I feel
like Highlight could go on, but I feel like Highlight would do really bad on Kingdom.
I feel like Highlight could go on and they would be the Hyolan.
Yeah. I don't know if I have a lot of confidence in Highlight doing good. But they could go.
Fair enough. I feel like a group, like a new because I'm trying to think of like new up-and-comers, because now that we have people like Luna and Vivi's, it doesn't need to be someone super super established. I feel like I'm now just looking at my own K-pop shelves, just trying to remember like who's here, because I've asked you. Yeah, I've asked you this question without actually having an answer for this myself. Do you okay, so let's just go based on categories. We need noise musicians.
Noise, yeah.
You think P1 Harmony could be on?
Maybe. I feel like I would love them to go. I feel like they would kill, but you think crush it. They would do so well. Here's the thing.
They would do amazing, but do you think that it would end up being a group like Gravity?
Probably Gravity. Yeah, Gravity definitely would go on before P1 Harmony for sure. I feel like Gravity is like in the prime spot for Kingdom.
Fair. I also have a feeling that if they could get Treasure would go on.
Treasure would go on, and I feel like that's not even that far-fetched considering Icon.
No, because they had Icon. Yeah, I think Treasure could go on. I feel like that's fun.
I feel like P1 Harmony is not that far of a stretch, and they're just in the like Lovely's SF9 spot of being the least popular group on the show.
But that's gonna fucking kill it. Who is an old group that could go?
It's now that B2B has already gone on, it's literally just Highlight, I think, is one of the like second gen groups that are like out of the military and together still.
Again, I would still like to continue this appeal to put a band on there, so I will continue my appeal to have One We on, because I think that'd be great.
I think military this year.
I know, but, you know, maybe he can defer to do this.
Maybe also, if we get, like, a band, we get one of CN Blue or FT Island for fun.
That'd be hilarious.
Or if we get both of them together, and that would also...
I mean, that's what we're resorting to, a super band.
There's only 3 of them in each now, so, like, I feel like that would be fun.
What, it's 2 drummers, 2 guitarists, and 2 vocalists?
You just get double
2 bassists, sorry.
Exactly.
I mean, now that they're back together, I feel like GOT7 could go.
GOT7 could go, yeah.
I don't think they would, but...
Right.
Maybe. The problem really is just figuring out what the age range is, because I feel like Kingdom and Queendom skewed older. This is skewing younger.
Yeah.
And it's just trying to figure out who's around.
Yeah, because it's like the problem with doing this with Kingdom is you run into the military problem, like, real soon.
Immediately?
Yeah.
Yeah, my thing is just, like, I don't know if they could get, like, TXT on.
TXT feels too big.
Maybe... Wait, is the Mnet planted Hypen because they have the connections?
And Hypen almost feels too big to go on.
They do almost... That's the other problem with boy groups, is that there's a level of too big, where it's like...
I feel like TXT and Hypen are both past that point.
You know who might be the plant? This has nothing to do with anything, but if it's right when Trainee A debuts,
that would be
they can get Trainee A.
Plant.
They're not Mnet related at all because they're entirely big hit music, but that'll be how they also try to get Island 2.
Right. Yeah, because Gravity seems like they would be the newer up and coming boy group that would get shoved on there.
You think? No, you think they get D&E?
D&E might be a host material, like TVXQ. That's what I'm saying.
So the new they replace TVXQ and Taeyong.
And all they would have to do is not have one of them get canceled midway through filming the show, and they'd already be better than TVXQ.
I feel like if D&E were gonna get canceled, they would have gotten canceled by now.
Yeah, there's not a lot of groups who are at that level.
the weird thing is trying to figure out the balance of, like, who's too big, who's not big. I would hate to be the casting person for...
Because, like, I know AB6 got a casting offer and then declined it, and then Monsta X got a casting offer and declined it for Kingdom.
But the other question is, like, is it just them not wanting to do a season 1, or is it them not wanting to do a
I think they just don't want to do it, because it's a bullshit show to begin with, so...
It really is a bullshit show. I feel like they're not going to have a good time if they do a Kingdom 2.
I know. Well, it would be really funny if they went back into the depths and pulled out groups who were on Road to Kingdom but are now bigger and now Kingdom level, because I feel like One Us is Kingdom level now.
One Us is Kingdom level. I also feel like
One Us, all of the groups that were on Road to Kingdom, I think, are all Kingdom level now. So we could literally just, like, fucking do a repeat of Kingdom minus the Road to Kingdom minus the boys.
Yeah, here's the thing. The boys imploded. I don't think any of them would want to do this again. They can't come.
They can't come, and I also think they shouldn't come for the better of their own mental sanity.
Do they give Golden Child a second chance after what they did to them?
I think they should. Because that was mean.
That's just the other thing is I feel like this show had such a... like, looking at the Kingdom and Road to Kingdom casting, it was so hard. And they kept talking about how, like, no one wanted to do the show. Min Hyuk had to convince BTOB to do it. Like, what do we even do here?
Yep.
Now.
And it's like also ran into the problem where they casted Road to Kingdom too high. So they inadvertently made the casting for Kingdom so much harder.
That's the other thing is I think that you just kind of have to I think Road to Kingdom just needs to be get rid of because, again, a group like Vivi's wouldn't be on actual, like,
I feel like Kepler and Vivi's and Luna even and Brave Girls all feel like Road to Queendom level groups rather than a
all
Queendom
we would have
group.
Is Hyolyn and WJSN. Yeah. I think that the Road to Kingdom of it all ruined the casting of the show. It really did,
and that was their own fault to begin with, because they were like, oh, we'll stretch it out and get more content out of this, and then I think Kingdom ended up with lower ratings than Road to Kingdom anyway, so... This is what I keep saying, because female soloist Queendom would have gone so much better and been more fun.
Absolutely. You just get... Taking out people who've already been on the show. Just get, like, even if you can't get, like, a Sunmi or an IU, just get, like, a Chungha. Just get a bunch of the girls that were in Produce Branch groups. Yeah. We're gonna again, it will never happen, but we will continue to make this point forever.
Oh, yes. I'm pretty sure when we were talking about that, we did say that Brave Girls and WJSN and G-Friend were groups that should be on, like, a second Queendom. And all three of them are here, essentially. Right. And then all we didn't get was Hyolyn as a soloist. Kepler, who didn't exist yet.
Kepler, who wasn't an idea in anyone's head yet.
And then Luna, because Luna, it seemed like they didn't have a big enough Korean fan base to warrant going on Queendom, so...
And they still don't. Mm-hmm. They have an international fan base, and that's why they were here.
Mm-hmm. They were the ATs of the season.
They were the ATs of the season. They did about the same
They
as
did
ATs.
It literally exactly. They placed it identical to what ATs did.
Well. Guess that's how that works. Alright.
So this has been our Queendom 2 review. It's been a lot.
So much.
We are available on all major podcasting platforms like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We also have a YouTube channel where we post all of our episodes along with fun clip videos occasionally. We will be ranking all the Queendom 2 performances because that's a thing we do always with this series, so look out for that eventually. And with that, we will see you in the next episode. Bye!
Bye!